guys, welcome back to Rush the Wash, and today, as promised, we're gonna be tackling this huge Kraken Studios skeleton. It is one of the most striking figures that my friend Gabriel from Magic Dice Manufacturing sent it to me, and I'm looking forward to get him sorted out tonight. It is a big miniature, it's a big boy, and honestly I think it's going to take a while to tackle him, although it doesn't have that many different areas, so I think it is not going to be too difficult to paint it, just a lot of surface that needs to be dealt with. Let me see if I can focus that camera a little bit better, because this guy is huge, and honestly I need to think about how am I gonna do all this surface. Let me see if I can actually focus that slightly better. Alright, so we have a lot of bone surface, a lot of clothing. Yes, secret sauce. Yes, Frank, you're first today, I think. A lot of clothing, and the clothing is a stitch all together, so we can get some cool stuff going on here. We have big ass weapon, check, with flaming, so we're gonna have some OSL as well. And let me see if I can focus this slightly better, because I think the camera today is playing tricks on me. Armor, I don't know, and tactical rocks. So this is a miniature that has a base already, so it gives me places to play with. What do you guys think about this? It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I mean, there is lots and lots of things to deal with here, and I think I'm gonna start with the bone. The bone area, it is, well, quite a lot of surface, and because it's so deep within the miniature, I want to do it first, so if I get anything, any mistakes, I can deal with them later as I start painting other areas as well. First the bone, then probably some of the metals, because they are also the next surface, and then I can start playing with the clothes and all the things on top of this huge skeleton. Now, how scary is this guy? If you were playing a dungeon crawler and considering that the rest of the heroes look this size compared to him, okay, how scary is he? Look at that. It's an order of magnitude of twice the size of a normal human. What kind of a skeleton is this? Where did it get from? Why is it this position? I mean, it's interesting the way it is, because it's not a troll, it doesn't look like an ogre, maybe it's an ogre, but where did this guy come from? Okay, let's start painting the bone first of all, and I'm gonna just zoom out a little bit, the other way, Miguel. Let's zoom out a little bit so we have a better view of what is going on here. I'm using my maple, golden maple paint handle, which is super comfortable. Honestly, I've been using it the whole week. I really like it. It's one of those things that I didn't know I really needed until I started feeling that I actually needed a painting handle, because holding this thing by the base will just be brutal. It will be just a lot of fidgeting around, and I wouldn't enjoy painting something like this. But let's get to painting. I'm gonna use this brush. I actually need to start buying some soap for my brush, because they are starting to feel the brunt of painting with washes. Washes are very taxing on your brushes because they go deep into between the hairs, and you know, I think I need to start considering getting one of those. Now guys, let me know, how good is the volume of the music? Is it too loud? Is it okay? I think it's okay. I think I got the nice soft spot in between 48 and minus 42 decibels, but I'm not really sure. If you guys can give me some feedback, I will really appreciate it. Okay, snakebite leather is the color of choice today for the bone. So vamos a enfocar un poco más cerca. Let's get a little bit closer with that. Boom. Based on his posture, he doesn't seem to me to be a bad guy. I might play him as a hero. Wow, okay. Alright. Frank, I think you have I don't know, it's like you have this rescue, you know what I mean. I'm trying to say how to say this. It's like when you find kitties on the street, you know, and you are like, oh, look at this guy, poor guy. I love cats, by the way, but they are also one of the most dangerous things for all the species out there. So sometimes I wonder if we are actually doing a disservice to nature just by having so many cats. But who's gonna say no to those animals, okay? But this guy, He doesn't look like a cat to me. I don't know, man. I think you might have misplaced your goodwill with him. Anyways, let's get those bones ready. Because I did cenital priming, and as you can see, let me see if I can get that. And I actually need to change the f-stop a little bit so we get some more light on him, don't we? There we are. As I did it with cenital priming, a lot of the shading has been already done by the priming itself. I just need to color and tint those areas so we get the color of the bone. But honestly, a lot of these, which if I had primed in black without any white, will have been a lot of work just to highlight and deciding where to highlight. If I had done a white primer all over the place, it will be the same. Where do I darken and how do I darken? But cenital priming solves a lot of problems regarding how to do this, because it actually is telling you, well, these are the shading, these are the shade areas, and these are the light areas. So it's a no-brainer right now. It's a big mini. It is not very complicated, but because of the surface, I actually think that it might take 2 painting sessions. But I'm gonna push as much as I can today, because it's Friday. Tomorrow I don't need to wake up early. And although I'm tired from the whole week and I have been to the gym once again, well, I'm gonna try to push as much as I can. It's around 10 p.m. here, so we have around, I'll say 3 hours, give or take, to get him sorted out. If I choose my colors wisely and if I don't make many mistakes, I think it will work. But my camera today is not cooperating, so I think I need to actually point at the point where I want it to be focusing. Now let's see if it does the magic. Come on. Come on, Canon. Aha. So it was focusing on the table. I saw that the focus square was not on the right spot. Now I think it's fixed. Now here, there is armor here and there is bone here on the fingers. I just don't care. I'm just gonna give it all a wash right now. And later on, even if it's brown, it's not a big problem, because actually I'm gonna go and do the same thing with different colors for the armor. Let's go. What are you painting today, Frank? Are you sculpting anything or are you painting anything? What is happening? Tell me. Whilst we are here alone, you can spill the beans. You can tell me your secrets, the deepest secrets of your sculpting process. What is going on there? And remember, you need to send me, please. Can you please send me a link later so I can put it on my channel in the community so people can see your miniatures. And that way, maybe we can get some traffic and you can get some goodies sent to the good patrons of Rastawash, who will probably love to have some of the miniatures that you sculpt. I do. I know I do. I know I did. And I'm enjoying them quite a lot. They need to be played with, but that's another thing. That's another thing. I like having them painted. A ver. Alright. A lot of bones here. Maybe he was a hero. Maybe you're right. But how does a hero of this size get to be an undead skeleton? Maybe he's a construct built on purpose, you know, to take care of the intruders that might come into the underground area that he's guarding. It could be a tomb area, it could be a temple, it could be something like that. I mean, once again, the possibilities for storytelling with this miniature are quite interesting, because Kraken Studios has got very nice sculpts, and I think that this is one of those that once again has the nice balance between details and non-details. The places that you can actually go mud painting and the places where you can actually not just ignore or just go very simple. This is something I like. I mean, the details are made in such a way that you can, for instance, decide to do something cool. Like this is a whole surface, and you might want to say, screw it, I don't want to spend time. You just give it a wash with a color. It will settle in those areas for shading and call it a day. But I think there is an opportunity for freehanding in here in some of these fabrics. So I think we're gonna use that as such. We're gonna go ahead and do some freehand with some of the ideas that I have in my head, because such a big creature, obviously, okay, cannot source clothing from anywhere. First of all, why will it be needing any clothes? But you know, it gives personality. But secondly, where do you source enough fabric to actually create clothes this big? And my idea is that some of these things could have been banners in the past. So some banners are in order here. So those are the things. As soon as I have the base colors for those and I'm done with most of the stuff, always the last thing that you paint with things with OSL, or I do, is the lighting. Okay, but before I go to the lighting, and one of the last steps is going to be doing some freehands on that. Okay, so let's see. Banners, curtains, tapestries, all those things definitely are the sources for clothing for something this size. For sure, it's not your, I don't know, what is the common brand? You are not going to Zara, or you're not going to, let me think about something. I know I live in the United States, but I cannot think for the love of me of a clothing store, because that was my wife's thingy. Me, personally, I will go to Warhammer and just play games and paint minis. I'm not a big shopper of clothing, actually. If I get my clothes, it's usually once a year. I just go, buy as many as I need, and then call it a year. Not a day, a year, and that's it. I'm done with it. I'm done for a whole new year of clothing. This includes shirts and pants for work, and then also clothing for the gym, etc, etc. Shoes, I go through, like, I buy 2 or 3 pairs of the shoes that I like, and then after they are done, I repeat the process, and that's that. Okay, now that this is done, the bone is painted, let's get to the armor itself. The other day I did something. I painted the armor of, who was this? Oh yeah, Moonface. I painted the armor of Moonface, the sword and the armor, if I'm not mistaken. No, the skeletons. It was the skeletons, but Moonface was a similar process. Sorry. The skeletons, the other skeletons that I painted, and the zombies, we painted it with dark steel. But today, because we did that wash that made it look, you know, old and used, I'm gonna paint first of all with a very light silver color. So let's see if it actually does it creates a difference. Wait, let me see, because I'm seeing that I'm missing some areas here. I don't want to miss out on that. If it works as I think it might work, it probably will create more contrast, and because the base is going to be lighter, it's going to create more contrast, and I think it's going to do the job. Probably will. Let's see. Okay. Let me just double check, okay, because otherwise I need to come back, and I'm seeing that rushing here sometimes is not a good idea. You need to be methodical, because it takes longer just to go and open the pot once again and find those areas that you missed out. But more or less it seems to be done. Yes, yeah, I think so. I think it's done. Let me see. It looks like everything is painted. Okay, let's do now the metallics. Let's do the metallics. I was watching a video from Beneath the Flagstones, yes, a little while ago, and he got a care package. He got one of those things that you buy on eBay and you have a lot of minis there. And I don't know where he's getting all these cool minis, because they are like ancient Warhammer minis. We're talking about 80s, late 80s, and very early 90s. And these were, he had there a Minotaur skeleton, among many other things. He had also a beastman with 2 faces, one facing forward and the other, it was the back of the head. And he had plenty of very cool miniatures that he's collecting for Advanced Hero Quest. So the thing is that I said, wow, that's a lot of money. I said, I think I threw a number there. That looks like 1,000 quid, 1,000 pounds care package. It's not. But considering prices nowadays, if the person selling those, and they look, I mean, completely mint, absolutely new, no rot, nothing, no even darkened metals. I don't know who gets these miniatures and keeps them like that for such a long time. Hello, Go For It Painting, how are you doing tonight? Are you painting anything? What are you painting? Tell us in the comments, please, so we can see what is going on. Also, guys, keep posting stuff in the channel. I'm seeing Very, very cool miniatures. I'm seeing very cool things going on, and I love seeing those. It's so fun to see your miniatures and what you're painting. I always am happy to comment and give you my feedback on those if you feel like you would like to know how I will tackle something. Okay, remember, I'm not a professional painter. I just have a different attitude towards painting because rushing the wash is my thing. And if you would like to see how you could obtain different results by doing washes or anything like that, just feel free to ask a question. I'm very happy to do that. And one day, I think one of the streams that I want to do is one of the real things that I will like to do quite a lot is you send me minis that you are blocked with, and maybe you really don't know what to do. And here we can start commenting. Like, a lot of us have ideas so quickly on, like, oh, you should paint that red, or you should do this way, or whatever, you know. So by sending those to rushthewash@gmail.com, we can make a few, like a question and answer stream, and then we can see how we can improve some of the painting that we have going on in the channel. All right, so let's do now the metals. I'm using room-fine steel, which is super light. You probably cannot notice it that much on the camera right now. Sorry, I'm moving quite a lot because this is such a big guy. And what I'm trying to do is, instead of starting from a dark base for the metal, we're gonna darken it, because one of my videos that I actually made about how to paint metals, it was that idea. You just need to buy one metallic paint, and it should be the lightest you can get, because as I said many times, it is very easy to darken from a very light base, that is impossible to highlight from a dark base with washes. And metals work exactly the same way. If you get a metallic paint that is light, like this one, like room-fine steel or Vallejo silver or something like that, you can start darkening it and giving it washes and making it more interesting and more appealing. However, if you try to do the same from, let's say, this dark metal that I have here from AK Interactive, the wash that works like a metallic paint, I cannot do much beyond maybe giving it a hue of a different color. So that's something that, if you are wishing to start painting the way I paint, and if you would like to do rush in the wash or slab chop or something like that, just don't spend too much money on metallic paints. Just buy the lightest that you can get at the store, and then you can start doing things very, very quickly with that. It is also possible, after you darken it, to highlight with the base color. In this case, what I said is room-fine steel, and that will work beautifully. You'll see later. This guy is full of spears and swords, and okay, the spears I can understand. Some of them seem to have been weapons that have been used against him, so like all the swords embedded in these caprays of his through the ribs could be weapons from enemies that he has killed, and they tried to actually deal with him, and they didn't work very well with skeletons. The skeletons are quite resistant to, you know, piercing weapons. But some of the spears are facing outward, so it seems like as if he had been stabbed from the back and it remained there. But if all the weapons were like that, I will be tempted to believe that these were defensive features, like he might have gotten those, like one of those animals, you know. There are some animals like some worms and also some crabs that put things on their caprays to protect themselves. Not necessarily spiky stuff, but also, you know, things to mimic their surroundings. And this, well, he might not be mimicking his surroundings, but he could have weapons that will be used against the people attacking him. Cool concept. I really like this mini, honestly. Anything from Kraken Studios that came on this care package, I have enjoyed painting. Well, actually all the minis that he sent me so far, they have been very cool. I like the proportions though from Kraken Studios with those big hands and, you know, very expressive features. They are very, very cool. Alright, this is like the most boring stuff ever. Painting metallics at the beginning of this type of painting is very boring because it's just a flat color, you know? There's nothing much going on in there. Alright. There we go. Friday night painting is my jam. Sometimes I just hang out with friends, but today I just feel like I need some time off from that. I just need some time for not doing anything too tied to other people. I just want to do something that is, you know, creative, calm, just painting a miniature and making sure that I get something new on my desk by tomorrow. Okay, let's see. More swords here. Wow, there are like a lot of them. I will count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swords on the back and like several, no, more than 5, 6 swords on the back, plus his big sword, plus a few spears, I think like 3 or 4. There we go. There we go. Is it focusing or not? There. Vamos allá. So he can source himself a weapon this big, but he cannot find a tailor. There is a blacksmith that makes weapons this big, but there are no tailors making clothes for him. That's so sad. I mean, priorities, you know? Should you be well clothed first or have a big weapon? I don't know. You tell me. We die of exposure. So that might be what killed him. Just hanging out in a cold dungeon. Yeah, that might be it. Alright. There we are. Where are we? What do we have here? Where are we? What about this? And this? I think we are almost done with the metallics. I can always come back to touch up anything that I might have forgotten, which I'm pretty sure that I have, because I'm noticing now that I forgot a few bones right here, the spine over here in that area, so I need to retouch that as well. It happens all the time. I just try not to, but it happens all the time, more so if you're trying to paint fast, that there are places that you forget to paint. It's obviously a magic sword that resizes itself to the user. Man, you have the proper imagination for this thing. That is very cool, because once you destroy this enemy, you can claim his sword, that flaming sword, which I'm gonna paint with green, by the way. I'm gonna paint it in a very I don't know, like warp stone kind of thing color, so it looks gloomy and evil and unnerving. Okay, all right, let's see. The camera is driving me nuts today. Let's see if by going a little bit far I can actually get it to focus better. I guess it's focusing mostly on my hand. As you can see, it's trying to do it but not doing it right. A ver, here and here as well. And it's fine if I forget some areas, because does he have only 3 fingers? Yes. Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, and the thumb there. 3 fingers. So, but he has 5 toes. So that's, yeah, I didn't think about that. I saw it, but I didn't think about that. It might be a telling feature of what he actually was when he was alive. Trolls have 3 fingers, don't they? Right? Trolls have 4 finger, well, 3 fingers, 1 thumb. But the feet is also should be also the same way. So I'm not really sure what is going on here. I might need to ask the sculptor himself and say, hey, what were you thinking when you were making this guy? Is there anything that you want to share with us? So I don't know. Maybe that's a good. You have good eyes, and I'm not really sure right now. You made me doubt it because giants, as I think they do have 4 fingers and thumbs, right? And a thumb, but everything else, like humanoids in general, will be like that. Okay, let me paint those. That's part of the spine that I didn't touch before. And see. Alright, Irexer say no. 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 Where are you? No. No. I think I need one of those things where you can put all the, you know, close that thing so I don't waste my batteries on that. A paint rack. I think I need a paint rack as well, so I can have access to them just by seeing where they are and save some time. Every time that you save like a few seconds, they add up to minutes, and minutes add up to hours, and so on, so on, so on. So having systems that allow you to paint fast is super important if you want to get those minis out there from the pile of shame. A ver. Okay, this is fixed. Okay, and also it's a lot of fur, so I have to consider like giving it maybe 2 different tones of fur, but that's something, well, I don't know. I need to think about it as I go. Do I want that or do I want something else? Okay, now that we're done with this, it's time, whilst the metals are drying, it's time to tackle these big pieces of clothing for the base colors. Okay, so we have one here, another one here that is soon, but it looks as if it's the same piece of clothing in here, like the whole thing over here is one piece of clothing. There is another one underneath right here, and there is another one underneath under this fur that looks like a sheep fur or something like that, and these look like bird. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of cloth. I will say that is 5 pieces of cloth, and oh well, and this 6 pieces of cloth. So let's see what we can come up with. Okay, I'm gonna do the colors as they are right now. I'm not gonna mix them with anything. I'm just gonna try to have some different things going on here. Let's start with a green. Which one will it be green? I think this one is going to be green. That one. I'm using vivid green as it is. Straight from the pot. Try not to stain the areas that are not it. Not this piece of cloth. And this, I don't know if it's sewn together or is more like a different piece of clothing right here that just broke and they started like trying to patch it together. We'll see. We'll make it as we go. As long as it looks cool, it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's see, here as well. And here as well. So Frank, what do you think? If it has only 3 fingers on each hand, what do you think this is? Because you are quite lore savvy on what is fantasy, and what would you be tempted to believe that this thing is? Or is it maybe a construct of different creatures and monsters, you know, all basically sewn together through dark magic? Like you get the legs of that, and then you get the arms of these, and then you have the skull of something else. What do you think is this Frankenstein of an undead? Let me know. Let me know. I need more green. That's a lot of surface. As I said, big miniatures are deceivingly easy because you don't have to have a lot of technique on them, but you have to have a lot of paint for that. Oh wow, that's the other piece of clothing there. Let's not touch it up too much. Be careful. And whilst this is drying, I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna paint the other piece of clothing. I think it is a construct that has been collecting parts. Yes, it has been collecting weapons. Okay, how do you like? You mean it killed something and then started building from that? I like that he's wearing some like a crown. You see? Let's get there. So he has a very. It's not too big for a creature of this size. It's actually deceivingly small compared to the rest of the body. I wouldn't say that it's human size. It's slightly larger than that, but it is not as big as you would expect for a creature of this size. And the blue tag is rebelling against me because this thing is top heavy. So would it be what you're saying? Probably. That's a. I think it's a possibility that could be considered such. Maybe not an undead thingy, but something else like a construct. Kind of. I don't know what do you think is the difference between being an undead and being something that has been reanimated with different corpse parts? Because would you consider Frankenstein an undead? The monster, you know, not Dr. Frankenstein. Would you consider the monster, the creature? That's his name. The creature, an undead, or would you consider a construct that is somehow alive? What is it? Okay, maybe it swaps out parts as he finds them. That's a good theory. Like, it's just like, but where is he getting all this armor from? Like, what kind of creature has this armor? Because it's big chunks of armor. So obviously armor is not something that you will find on any construct. You will find it on usually sentient and intelligent creatures. So what the heck is this, huh? What is it? Okay, let's get this green from the rear as well. And now we need to go and paint something else. There are some other fabrics here. This I have envisioned already as burgundy. So burgundy or magenta, something like that. And then we have that huge contrast between the two colors. It could be red, but I think magenta is going to be a little bit more nice. Let's put it that way. There we are, magenta, space magenta. Let's put some on my wet palette, and we're gonna paint that carefully now because this part is wet and I don't want the two paints mixing, so I need to be very mindful of that. Frankenstein's monster was reanimated by chemical means after being assembled using specific parts in order to create the perfect man that didn't go as planned. True, he was quite immortal. From what I recall from the stories is that no matter what they did to him, he will come back to life, or it was almost impossible to kill him. Like at the end of the movie, at least, he's going to Antarctica, well, to the North Pole, I think, or the South Pole. I'm not sure where. I think South Pole is the North Pole. Dr. Frankenstein is trying to flee, and the creature is finding him. No matter what, it can be cold. He has been burned. A lot of things happen to the creature, and the creature is still a relentless automaton with a lot of consciousness because it's actually sentient and it understands a lot of things. So it's not a mindless undead creature. It's something way beyond that. It's cool because Frankenstein is... It's something that basically is talking about transhumanism. It's one of those topics that begins as a, you know, as a theory, as a story, as a legend, not a legend, but as something that you write and you just start discussing about it in a book, and then all of a sudden you find yourself reconsidering the options later on, because now a lot of the means that we need to do something like that are already in place. We could be cloning humans, and we could be creating artificial humanoids, and it's scary because, for instance, right now they have these synthetic brain made with neurons that is playing Doom and learning how to play Doom, and that's all that thing does is play Doom. And then when they switch it off, those neural connections, those synapses, boom, they just die, and the only thing that they knew was shooting at things in a video game. So we have the means and the technology, but luckily, I think, okay, we still have the presence of mind, at least publicly, to not create something like Frankenstein, because it's playing a little bit too much like God. And I mean, you know what I mean, right? Yes, Frankenstein's monster was tremendously intelligent. You need to bear in mind that he basically taught himself to speak, and he started reading and things like that from nothing, okay? And me as a linguist, somebody that deals with teaching languages, that's one of the very interesting things about language, is that it's innate to humans. We learn it in a way that seems to be like we are programmed to learn it. But if we do not learn it, if somebody doesn't expose it to us within a very critical period, and I think it's up to, don't quote me on this, but I think it's up to around 3 or 4 years old, and you're not exposed to language, you develop a very huge handicap for learning languages. And that's why we have stories about some feral children like Victor de Aveyron, who was a French child that was found in the middle of the forest. It seems that he was abandoned, and he basically was he was a feral child. I mean, he raised himself in the wilderness, and he didn't speak French when he was found. And what happened is that the people who found him tried to teach him to speak, but because that age of development had already passed, they couldn't. He was not able to communicate efficiently or effectively as an adult human, because that critical moment was already gone. So the plasticity of your brain for learning languages has a limited period of time where you can actually use it. If you have a first language, okay, learning a second language is okay. You can do it, even if you are an adult and you have never learned a language. It's possible. Of course, if you're a child and you're being exposed to languages since very, very early, boom. Okay, just joined, but weird coincidence. While at work today, we watch the National Theatre Live Frankenstein production featuring Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch is like cardboard crimson. The cardboard crimson of colors is Benedict Cumberbatch for the name. It's one of those like difficult things for me to say. Well, you know, sometimes serendipity. Well, now we're discussing about the age of development for learning languages. Wow, okay, that's pretty cool, man. I really want to go to some theater place and whatnot. I need to bring the kids. I do service learning, and I need to find something that I can take them. I need to talk. Now you're making me want to talk to my drama teacher and see if we can go to a play or something like that. Because I remember when I was a child, when I was in school, and the music teacher took us to a concert, and everybody was very like, whatever. What the heck? We don't want to listen to this music. It's stupid. Well, lo and behold, we were mesmerized by it. And lo and behold, I listened to a lot of different genres, like heavy metal, new metal, power metal, folk music, classic music, baroque music, you name it. And it's the exposure of these things at an early age that create that, you know, a curiosity towards that. But as I was talking about languages, and Frankenstein in particular, He had to be extremely intelligent to a degree that we cannot even fathom, because if you learn a language as an adult without having been exposed to one as a child, it's, I think it's impossible, basically. Okay, that's it. You're gone. You are developmentally challenged because you haven't done your homework when you needed to do your homework, if it makes any sense. Okay. Of course, Frankenstein was written during a drug-fueled weekend in Switzerland, so it's anyone's guess what Dr. Frankenstein was up to. Yeah, this lady, eh? How long did it take? Not too long. She was reading. She wrote it. Mary Shelley wrote it as a challenge between some fellow writers there, and I think everybody agreed that her story was the best of the ones that they came up during that time. So it's interesting because how we're gonna get into philosophy now. How do you get these ideas? How do they come to you? You know what I mean? It's out of nowhere. You create something that is like genre changing. It's not a small tale that nobody really cares about. It became a classic all of a sudden. And how did it happen? Okay, yeah, are those ideas floating around and they just latch onto somebody that is willing to listen to them? Or is, how do you even have the creativity to get all that into one weekend and make something so special? Because you might be trying it for years. You might be trying to bottle that genie for years, like trying to come up with something very cool. But then all of a sudden, this woman, they're just like, well, there you go. You know what I mean? I think this Frankenstein conversation is reaching a Star Trek level conspiracy. Oh, man, the things I would love to talk about sometimes. But it's miniatures anyways. The things I would love to talk about sometimes. You want some some high level conspiracies? Man, my friend and I, we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff about ancient history and not so ancient history, and chapters in human history that seem to be missing, or we don't really understand how some things stop being so, because all those kinds of things. And I think it ties very well with what we're doing here, like painting things for dungeon crawlers, because just imagine being the guy bringing the torch and going down in the ruins and then finding these vast underground complexes and wondering, it's like, okay, who the heck built this? Okay, who the heck built this place? Like those places in Turkey, or in like the whole catacombs in Paris. Just imagine, okay, going down there, exploring that place, finding thousands, if not millions, of skeletons from the cemeteries that were deposited there, and thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be easier just to, I don't know, throw them anywhere? But no, you have all these complexes and under your feet in a city like Paris. So in fantasy is the same. Is these guys are like going down to ancient civilization places and finding about what was before them. And for me, that's so interesting, not only as a game perspective, but the reality is that you can do this in real life. So let me see. Wikipedia says, stuck indoors due to unreasonable stormy weather, Mary, her future husband Percy Bysshe Shelley, and poet Lord Byron passed the time by holding a ghost story contest. Yes, one evening, after a night of discussing the reanimation of corpses, Mary had a waking dream that inspired the plot. Waking dream, right. So you think this is a drug-fueled experience. I probably agree with you. A lot of the things that you know, have come to humankind as inspired stuff, it's said to be drug-fueled experiences, more so with mushrooms. We're talking about ancient humans experimenting with mushrooms, and there are some very interesting cave paintings of mushroom man, okay? if you look them up, and I'm gonna look them up for you guys, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Mushroom Man is this humanoid creature with mushrooms come out all over the body. And this is a cave painting. We're not talking about new art, you know, from hippie-fueled travelers or whatever. We're talking about our ancestors. So go wonder if you're a hominid and then all of a sudden you're starting, you know, you're just caring about getting some fruit, maybe having your girlfriend pick up the fleece from your coat. You know, the usual thing a monkey will do, right? And then all of a sudden you eat some mushrooms and you trip. And you trip balls. I mean, you're not tripping like a little bit like you have a pint of beer. You're tripping your ass off and you're going to places where your brain has never been. And you start seeing things and you have the bright idea of maybe rubbing two sticks for long enough to get fire going. You know, that kind of revelation level. So I'm accepting your theory through and through that Mary Shelley probably was doing absinthe or something like that, and this just came to her as a waking dream. Or the oniric aspect of the inspiration. How many of you, okay, be truthful now, how many of you have gone to bed with a huge problem and the whole night you have been dreaming about the freaking problem and having nightmares about it, and then you wake up a little bit tired but yet with some kind of inspiration, but I don't want to say inspiration. Yeah, like you're pushed towards a definite solution for that problem. Like something is telling you, okay, enough with this nonsense. You need to do this. Like many of the problems that I have solved through my lifetime were basically solved like that. Like, hey, Miguel. Yeah, I know you couldn't sleep. That was not cool. However, if you try this, maybe you can figure it out. So, drugs or not, maybe they were so like completely overwhelmed by what they were trying, and they just had these ideas coming to them just like that, you know, after being talking about it over and over and over again. And remember, this is probably the time, I guess, where they were thinking about spiritism and all this weird stuff going on, you know, with all these people trying to talk to the deceased ones and etc, etc. Okay, I need to create a brown, so I'm gonna go warm yellow. All right, let's do some warm yellow, mix it with a little bit of red. Actually, I'm gonna use the burgundy, I guess. Nah, just red. And then a little bit of black. I'm gonna create a brown. Let's use that for painting some of these skins and furs and whatnot. Let's see what brown I can come up with. For sure. Ahí estamos. So Frankenstein learned how to talk by himself with, I think it was a blind guy who actually taught him to, or at least the bare basics of talking. He was not judged because he was, the guy who was talking to him was blind. So, alright, let's see. This is a very dark brown. So, come on, focus, my dear camera. You can do it. I know you can do it. You've proven it to me over and over again. Ooh, this is like Sigurd brown, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the contrast color, Sigurd brown. Or maybe Dryad bark or something like that. It's a very dark, very coffee white, like brown. Almost black, but you still can see the brown hue underneath. Vale. This is perfect because then when we highlight it with a little bit of ice yellow, it's gonna give us a very nice base to work from. We want some of it here, and I can actually use it too to save some time later for the teeth, which we are gonna highlight a little bit later, and the nose and the eye sockets. If the eye sockets had something else inside them, I could paint them with OSL, but I don't think it's gonna be the case. Well, we'll see later. I don't know. I always see another one of those oniric ideas, waking dream ideas. Not tripping mushrooms. Okay, dokie. Let me see. I like how when we have these deep conversations, somebody always goes to Wikipedia and checks. It's like, hey, pull it up, Jamie. You know, when Joe Rogan, when say, Jamie, pull that up. Help me out on this. That helps a lot, actually. Okay, what is this thing here? Is it a little bit of fur? Armour? I don't know. And now, if I paint this brown and I put some extra red and I put some extra red. I need more red here. Let's put some more red here and pull some of that towards it. Okay, a little bit of medium. Medium is the closest that you get to white on washes. And we mix it and we get a reddish color, reddish hue. I think we can paint one of those. All right, let's see. Pull, 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 and then like that. Yes, like that. It's like a rust color now. Okay, and I'm gonna paint one of these fur, like this one that looks like a boar skin or something like that. I'm not really sure. This one. Come on, focus on that. I need to tap on my screen, don't I? Because it's following whatever. Okay, can you check on that, please? There we are. Let's see. Yes. Exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted. That's a nice color. That's a very nice color for brown. Look at that. It's translucent enough to let the texture show, and it's dark enough to go into the recesses and get the color that I was looking for. Very nice. Okay, so doing some more research on Frankenstein, one of the big debates of the day was whether human corpses could be reanimated after death. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, okay? So we're gonna get deep on this again. When are you truly dead? When are you truly dead? Not death, dead. Because there are cases, like for instance, I think there is only one case of rabies being healed. Rabies is fatal, you know, is one of the most insidious things that you can get. If you are not treated very, very quickly, you die of it. But there was this girl who was bitten, I think by a dog or something like that. She got rabies and they induced her into a coma. And this coma allowed for them to actually treat the rabies and actually cure her of it. Now, when are you dead? Because coma is the closest that you can be to death, right? Was she dead? I mean, or was she alive? When they induce you in a coma, you always say, oh, well, I felt a lot of... there is a lot of people that say, yeah, I felt everything. I felt people talking to me. And there are probably people who don't remember a single thing. So in that sense, it's like being in a bad dream, because you're hearing everything, you're feeling everything around you. You know, like when you are in one of those light sleep things that you can't hear the TV, you can't hear people talking around you, but still you are asleep and you cannot do anything about it. So how do you think that feels? And can you actually get somebody from the death, okay, the passing that threshold, whatever it is, and then bringing it back, if you can fix the body? If you can fix the body, or is it something that the spark is gone, you're never gonna get it back, and that's that? So we are getting deep into philosophical questions here today, it seems. It's one of those nights, isn't it? All right, here now I need some other colors. I would like to do this grayish, but to do that gray I need to go Drakenhof Nightshade. Vamos a usar un poco de Drakenhof Nightshade, the cheating color, and then we can do other stuff. And I think I'm gonna try both in Drakenhof Nightshade, because I think if we paint two different pelts here, it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel quite weird, actually. The good thing is that once we get that Drakenhof Nightshade undercoat, we can do some stuff to it and then work it and make it a little bit more appealing, or maybe have more depth and nuance here and there. Maybe add a little bit of red to make some purple shades, and we'll see what happens. So that's a very good debate, and it's a debate that probably has been going for ages. Just imagine, a lot of the rituals of burying people involved using ochre, you know, that reddish soil color that they used in the Neolithic, Paleolithic, to color the people who were buried. And just to the idea is that probably it was done in order to make them recover the color of being alive, and all the processes that they went through, just burying them with their favorite horse, their favorite weapons, their favorite belongings, drinking cauldrons, all kinds of weird stuff. Well, not weird stuff, you know, the things that you would love to have with you, even if you were dead, because you were expected to go somewhere else. They were very methodical about this, and this is not something that is found in one civilization, in one culture. It's very, very prevalent all over the world, in many, many different cultures and civilizations. So I think for us, death is such a mystery because of that, because you feel like it's all your potentialities, all that you have been and become, just shouldn't go to waste, right? Where is this going to? Is it staying with us somehow, or is it going somewhere else? Or because nobody actually, until very recently, I will say, nobody will believe that this is the end. That's it, end of road. There's nothing else happening. This is probably a new construct of the belief system of humans. Oh, you said favorite horse, huh? Well, those two, yes. In some cases, concubines will be also killed and buried with you. So, and in some cases, I also read that if you were like designing the tombs for pharaohs and whatnot, you will be sacrificed and buried with the pharaoh, so people will not know the secrets of the place where it had been created and whatnot. But how much is truth or how much is legend, I don't know. It's just one of those things that you hear over and over, you know, in media and whatnot. And it sounds quite romantic, so I guess maybe there's a chance that had happened. But if you have a very useful architect or somebody that can build things like that, I don't think people are gonna, you know what, we're gonna kill you. Because all the years that it took you to learn your skill and your trade, yeah, whatever. It's for the pharaoh. So that's another thing. In Asturias, where I'm from, in northern Spain, there are quite a lot of tumuli. Quite a lot of them. Well, like a lot of them. I didn't know that there were that many until I started like actually going trekking with the purpose of finding them. I discovered quite a lot all over the place. Not me discovering them for the first time. I discovered them for myself. Like, I didn't know that those existed, and then I started reading a lot about what these places were and whatnot. And they were the Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic is when, you know, we're still within the Stone Age, but people are starting to build things with metal, bronze in particular. Not yet the Bronze Age, but quite close to it. Okay, please check me, fact check me, because as I said, I'm a noob. I have no freaking idea of anything, and sometimes I talk and I sound very, very savvy, but I have no freaking idea of a lot of things. Okay, and Evening Falls, how are you doing? Beneath the Flagstones, I was talking about your video with that care package that you got from with all those Oldhammer miniatures, and I was telling you that probably you have £1,000 in there easily. Rich. So during the Chalcolithic and this time period of transition between the Neolithic and the Bronze Age, there were many tombs in Asturias, like many tumuli. So many of them were exfoliated and things taken out of them. In the, I think at the late 1800s and early 1900s, people were just opening the map and trying to find things in there. But a lot of the stuff that was buried in there, you know, were stone knives and jewels and things like that. Which, why would you bury something that is so valuable as some tools and whatnot, unless it's one of the favorite things that the dead has in there? And the fact that you're willing to part with something that could be used by other people in the tribe or in the social group, just to give it to somebody that he's not going to come back, she's not going to come back, because you have a strong belief that that person is going somewhere else and is going to use that, they're going to need it. So yeah, there you go. Tumuli are one of my favorite features of, you know, ancient history and by extension of fantasy, because I remember reading Lord of the Rings, and when the Whites take the Hobbits is one of my favorite parts of the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, which, by the way, doesn't appear at all in the movies. It's not even mentioned, with Tom Bombadil and all the things that happen, you know, in that small period. It's such a nice, interesting thing, because the Hobbits are wandering into a very dangerous place, because the undead, the dead that live there in those barrows, are relentlessly hunting the living. And I don't know why that resonated with me so much, because I had no idea that we had that type of tombs in northern Spain. For me, it was completely unbeknownst that we had hundreds and hundreds of tumuli in my region. And it was only recently that I found about them, only recently that I was actively trekking to see them, and only recently that I was reading about them. Now, one thing that we have in Asturias is that our soil is super acidic. And because it's super acidic, any human remains in there, and we're talking about 5,000, 6,000 years ago, okay? We're talking about a long time ago. Those bones are long gone. Bones don't really last that long on soil. If the soil is like the way that it is in my region, you should not expect to find any human remains whatsoever. What you will find is what those human remains have been buried with. And as I said, they could find in those places that were not exfoliated, that were not found by other people and then dug, they will find stone knives and other things. Very valuable stuff for the dead, very valuable stuff for the people who were left living, and yet they will prefer to give it to those people and not make use of that. So, full circle, let's go back to the undead here. Who is this guy? Why is he so damn huge? Now, Frank has a theory, and he thinks that this is not a really undead. It's an automaton that is taking corpses, pieces of other corpses, pieces of enemies, and including them onto his body as needed. Like maybe he got damaged arms, so okay, well, let's get some new arms. Oh wow, I killed a troll that was wandering into this underground complex. Boom, now I have new arms. But still, it doesn't answer the question, why is he wearing this armor? Where is this armor coming from? Etc, etc. You know what I mean? So I like the theories that we come up with in this small forum of ours. I'm gonna paint this like this. I think this is a good color to paint. Or yellow. Guys, ultramarine blue or yellow on this? What do you guys say? And you say, yeah, I replied saying it had if it had cost that, I will be kicked out and living in the shed. Of course you're gonna say this publicly, because wink wink, it was very cheap. I'm pretty sure about that. I said to him, that's £1,000 in one single package. But he's saying that is not. Well, maybe not £1,000, but something like 300 probably. Probably. Unless you have some contacts that can do very cool stuff, even though they might not be 100% legit. I know somebody in Spain that does that. And I got minis from them and they look like the real deal. So recasters, sometimes they do very cool stuff. I know not everybody approves of that. I completely agree that it evaluates the price of the things that have been made. And it also, if you want something genuine, you should know, right? Because I know there are some recasters selling things as genuine and they are not. And that's not cool, man. That is not cool at all. I mean, if you tell me, hey, look, this is not original, and this is, even if you make me pay more money than I should for something that is not original, at least I know. Don't trick me, okay? Don't trick me. No bueno, no cool. No me gusta. Anybody? Can you guys give me some idea? Should I paint this ultramarine blue or yellow? What do you guys think? This small piece of cloth here going there. I think I'm having an idea. I'm having one of those epiphanies like Mary Shelley. I'm gonna paint it with ultramarine blue, and then I'm gonna highlight it differently. And let's see what happens, okay? Let's see if we get a different color here. Maybe with blue, because I haven't used blue. Yes, ultramarine blue and then some blue wash. So we get a different color altogether. Because if we do ultramarine blue and ice yellow and then Drakenhof Nightshade, well, okay, it looks like the usual thing that I do here. But if we do it with a different with the same highlights but with a different glaze, then we're gonna get a different color. Say blue. Yeah, see, I knew it. I mean, I was around the ballpark on that. It's nice though. I mean, what the hell? If that's your money, man, you can spend it on whatever. And there are worse things to spend your money on, for sure. Way worse things to spend money on rather than miniatures. Out of the top of my head, I can think of several things that I will not spend that much money on. Like, for instance, for me, clothing is not one of those. See? Yeah, I like nice clothing, but I really don't look forward to spending money on it, because I don't know, it doesn't give me that pleasure, you know. I like dressing well, but I don't really mind spending money on it. I know a lot of people disagrees, but for something that you're probably gonna wear for a season or two, and that's stupid. The clothing now is so, I don't know. Back in the day, a good jacket will last you 20 years and people will wear it for 20 years. I will wear it for 20 years. I don't mind. I have clothes like they have been with me for 15 years. I think this t-shirt is one of those examples. Maybe 10 years, something like that. I think we guys are a little bit luckier on that regard compared to women, but everything is changing all the time. So let's see, 250, yeah, like cameras. What are you talking about? I didn't spend no money, nothing on cameras, okay? Yeah, I like cameras though. I didn't like them at all. My father was kind of like an amateur photographer, and I really didn't bother much about the camera at all. And now I look at them and it's like, I'm not savvy. Again, it's one of those things that I marginally touch, but it's cool to have things that do the job that you want them to do when you need it to be done. Like this freaking thing that is not focusing on this. Well, while this is drying a little bit, let's see. I wanted to show you something. I know that. Let me just get my mouse here. Okay, because we were talking about these things, and I'm gonna show you one of my favorite places in Spain, in Asturias, okay? And it's this, los túmulos de la corredoria. De la cobertoria, perdón, cobertoria. So this is, there we go. There are two, actually, there are two separate different places of this, all right? Let me just go to my, give me a second, please, don't mind me, start studio mode. And this is a little bit on the tangent, okay? But because I'm so freaking passionate about this, well, I'm gonna share it with you guys. And let me see, where do I need to touch things up? I need to go here, show my screen, window capture, properties, and then I go to, let's see, aquí está, boom, all right, and then I go to show my screen. Well, these are tumuli in northern Spain, in Asturias, okay? Let's see if I can show you one a little bit bigger. Let's see. And I don't know which screen am I showing. Yes, there you go. So they are just basically like pieces of rock, and huge pieces of rock, okay? Like this one here. This is a fantastic, phenomenal piece of rock with a beautiful view. And they are not very far from where I live. There is a whole complex around this. The view around it is breathtaking. I took videos these past years when I was walking around them. And es el Prado de Agüezos is a field where people gather at the beginning of summer to eat roasted mutton. There is another one like this one that was built along many years in a different place altogether, which was covered with red soil, and here it is. I also visited this last year. I didn't know all these places existed in Asturias. Okay, this is a plane of it. Let's see. I didn't know these places existed in Asturias until last year. Like last year, I was checking a website or an app called Wikiloc, and in this place in Wikiloc, where you can see like trekking trails and whatnot, I got the map that is the Spanish geographical or geo something. It's like basically a military map that the government has made, so you can see many things. Okay, you can see a lot of things. And then all of a sudden I noticed 3 dots in the map. Let me see if I can show you. I noticed that there were 3 dots here and there all over the place all the time. And I was like, what are these freaking 3 dots that are showing in my map all the time? And once I started zooming in, I noticed that these were not only 3 dots, there were this, okay? Let me just go here, show my screen. All right, so this is Wikiloc. This is where I am now, and this is Romania. See? Let me see. Here, I am in Romania. But if I go back to Spain, boom, this is Spain. Right. And now I can change the map and go, let me see, profile. I can change the map and change it into, if I can do it. You can change maps. I can change it into, go back. Oh my gosh. I can change it into nothing. View map. Thank you. I can change it into a map that shows different features in these areas. But I now cannot. Yeah, there you go. Here. So this is this one, the Instituto Geográfico Nacional. Okay. And once you start zooming in, you start seeing 3 points. I'm gonna see when I can find 3 points, because this you need to go in very detail. Let me see somewhere I know for sure that there are tumuli and other ruins. Here, this one is the one that I was showing you, La Pola, and then you go here to this mountain, and then you zoom in, okay, and here Alto la Cobertoria, and there you go. You see those 3 dots, these 3 dots. Once I started zooming in into these places, I found like, wait, this is a dolmen. A dolmen is a type of like construction, you know, is a tomb. There were 3 dots in so many places around in this area, and then I started walking around, and I was super excited because, as I told you, I am very keen on finding ancient ruins and things like that. I think it ties with the silliness of, you know, playing Dungeons and Dragons and whatever. Anyways, big tangent again, okay, whilst this is drying. I love ruins, I love ancient history, and this guy needs to be finished painting. So I'm gonna continue doing that, and I think we are almost at the point where we can start thinking about doing the highlights and then doing the glazing. So I have a few areas that I need to tackle. This is the handle of the sword. We need to tackle that. We need to tackle also the beginning of painting the flames for the sword. and we need to tackle some of the handles, some of the things from the weapons that are here. I don't want to paint everything in the same colors because I want it to look a little bit chaotic, a little bit, you know, with several things going on him, because this is not something that will be uniformly dressed and will not be carrying any kinds of a particular uniform of weapons or and other things on him. So let me just finish this and then think about what other colors can I do on him, because I noticed that I haven't painted this properly, and this is one of those areas that needs to be proper dark. Are you passionate, guys, about, you know, ancient history? Do you have, because in England you are very lucky, you have so many ruins, you have so much history as well hidden in plain sight for many people to find. I love how you can find abbeys and ancient and monasteries and churches and things like that, and they are quite, even though they are in ruins, they are very well preserved. Are you still rocking the members only jacket? What members only jacket? Do I have a members only jacket? Do we have a members only jacket, or what? What do we? What do you mean by jacket? Or the shirt, you mean? Because I don't have a jacket. Not yet. Not yet. Or the red one with the wash demon. Which one are you talking about, Frank? Sorry, I was like caught in my my diatribe of ancient history. You can tell I'm passionate about it, right? You can tell I really like those things. Ooh, okay, this handle like that. I'm gonna paint this one like that as well. Let's keep it simple. Okay. Love castles. I recently restored some lime kilns that were built in 1797, but often works on buildings that... What is your job beneath the flagstones? Please tell me, what is your job? What do you do for a living? Because that's not something that anybody does, okay? Do you work for a museum? Are you... how do we call those people in Spanish? Because I have a friend that does that. She goes to places with, you know, very old fresco paintings, and she cleans them up and brings them back to life. A restorer, I think, restaurador, we call them restauradores. They restore things back onto the former glory, but they are very careful on the process. They don't do stupid things like painting on top of it with tempera or whatever, you know. They know what they're doing. You were talking about wearing the same jacket for 20 years, and that made me think about the classic 80s jacket. Yes, I do. I don't have an 80s one, but I have probably one from 1999 or something like that I still wear sometimes. It's a leather jacket. It's from Gap. I know this. I remember exactly when I bought it. And I bought it in England when I visited with my sister, and it's still with me. I'm still wearing it. If the quality of the clothing is good, it's gonna last forever. And if you choose right your clothing, they are going to be with you not only forever, but they're never gonna go out of fashion. So, you know the saying that says that rich people pay for the things once and poor people pay for the things all their lives. Like when you buy shoes and they are good shoes, they're gonna last you a lifetime. You just need to change the soles a little bit more. But if you are poor, you're gonna buy boots every year because, well, they are crappy and they're gonna break. So you end up paying more money on the long run than a rich person. So primarily we are heritage builders, conservation and restoration. God damn, that is so cool. I love working with my hands too, and if you are doing something like that, that has to be super cool, super rewarding as well, super nice. So see, once again, you can tell you can tell we are a bunch of certain atypical people in that sense, because it's like this hobby brings a very specific type of person, I swear. Alright, let's go through with Infernal Red for that handle. I want it to be striking against the green flames that we're gonna get. And we're getting to the point, the black point, as usual, okay? Where we are like, it doesn't look great. It's just a bunch of colors, there are no volumes. The personality is all over the place, and we need to start thinking about how to tie in all these features. And it's fine, we are getting there. This is the most boring part, as usual, okay? Is doing, you know, is covering. Is there is no soul in this. This is just paint by numbers. Now is after I do all this is where the craft starts, where the artistic view starts, where the cool things happen. But first we need to do all this and get it done so we can move to that next step, which is the fun one, by the way. That's the one that is rewarding and cool. All right, until then, well, it's just paint by numbers, stain things, hope for the best, and just, you know, clench your teeth and move on. Clench your teeth and move on. Vale, let me see. This handle as well. This pommel. Handle pommel. A ver, let's put something a little bit different, right? A little bit of blue. No, it's just too blue. Too much blue everywhere. What about a little bit of yellow? Let's do some yellow on this one. No, but then it's gonna be gold. Nah, let's do magenta. Whatever. Let's do magenta. Let's do magenta. Such a nice job. Such a nice job. I bet you really like what you do, because it's one of those things, like I was saying the other day, you have to be creative within the limitations of creativity, because you have to do things in a particular way. You cannot go rogue and do whatever you want. And by having to do them in a particular way, you're probably having a lot of fun by trying to figure out just how to do it. And once it all comes together, I'm pretty sure you feel pretty chuffed about what you have achieved, right? Let's do some browning this from the one that I mixed before, that very dark brown that I got mixing yellow and red and black. Very dark brown, very dirty, very greasy. Very greasy, look at that. Okay. There we are. All right. Awful. It looks horrible. Let's fix that. Huh? What do you guys say? Let's fix this thing. Let's get it to the point where we are feeling happy about him. First of all, let's darken those metals. They look shiny. They don't have any personality. They are flat as heck. Nobody wants that. We need something that is making this skeleton look ancient, rusty, used and abused. Alright, let's do that. I feel privileged to work on these historical buildings for sure. We exclusively use lime, no cement. Wow, okay. What is the most challenging part of your job? Like, what would you consider, like, one of those things that you know is gonna suck when you see it and they tell you, well, we need to fix it, and you know, no, man. No, not again. What would you say is the most difficult part of your job? Or something that, I don't know, you know what I mean, right? I know when I have something to do, like, oh, you have to mark all these papers. I just really don't like marking papers. I love teaching lessons. I hate marking papers. I think most teachers hate marking papers. We like dealing with kids. I like working with, pastoral issues, because I always try to fix things and make kids, just mature, basically. But there are other things, like all the paperwork, all these things that you need to tick boxes to just get things rolling. And it's part of the job. You have to do it. There is no way around it, because you need documentation and you need proof that things are happening in a particular way, and you need to make sure that the kids are moving somewhere. But it just sucks, okay? So you just know that it's the sucky part of work. And the weather, to be honest, a lot of work is external, and the UK weather is a worldwide joke. Is it hot nowadays, or is it cold? How is it? Because I know Frank, he lives in a place that it's I don't know how you guys get used to such heat. Like, really, I'm suffering. Yesterday, I was planting some trees with my kids. We had a project that was planting bushes, and I I was not prepared mentally nor physically nor clothing wise to do that, and it sucked. It was too hot yesterday. Thank God we did it yesterday because today was raining a lot. It was, you know, here the weather is like that. It's changing. And say, so it's fine at present. Okay, what are we talking about? 20s, something like that. That's nice weather. 14, 15 degrees and up to 20 is very nice weather to work outside. Anything beyond or below that starts to suck quite a lot. It's 39 degrees Celsius right now. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna take my glasses off. 39 Celsius. Man, why do people even bother living in places like that? It's honestly, it's just too hot. What? What's that? Winter working, yeah. If it's raining, it sucks. If it's freezing, it sucks. And of course, you need to use your hands. And I don't know about lime, but when you work with cement, it's just so bad when it's cold. It's just so bad, and you get all these dry hands because cement just, you know, it dries your hands crazy, and if it's cold on top of that, you're up to you're not gonna enjoy it at all. Pero para nada, it's gonna suck big time. A ver, let's see. Yeah, we can see. I can see the difference in the tone. It still needs to dry, but it's just more oranges. Remember the other day when we were painting the metals went darker, more brown, because we were using a darker color for them. But today they're just orangey, which is okay, but I want more contrast, so I'm gonna have to do some Agrax Earthshade on those. And this sword also. Let's go here. Then we decide how to paint that for the flames. But first we need the rustiness. Glad I have a hobby space in the cellar. Yeah. It's more a constant temperature, right? Yeah, I guess, I mean, in the winter time it probably sucks a little bit if you have some humidity. I don't know. But here in Romania, wintertime painting is fine because the house is quite warm. My house is okay. It's not hot, it's warm, it's fine. The temperature is good. The isolation is properly done. They are used to winters, and the new apartments, when they made them, they thought about how to make them properly insulated, sorry, not isolated, insulated. Whereas summertime, I don't know yet, it's getting hot, but my apartment is okay still. But I remember very well when I was in South Carolina. South Carolina gets very hot. When I was in South Carolina during the summertime, if we didn't switch on the aircon, the house was boiling hot, and the paint will dry on your brush. So I don't even want to know what it feels like when you have 39 degrees Celsius. I bet you just open the pot and the pot solidifies as soon as it's hit by that type of warm air. Malaysia was a different beast. Malaysia was not only hot, but it was humid. But it was like 29 degrees Celsius most of the year. Sometimes, rarely, you will get 18 degrees Celsius, mostly during the winter time. And the seasons are basically dry season and wet season. But during the winter time, you will get lucky, and some days you will get 18 degrees Celsius and you didn't even need the aircon, and you will sleep well. I hate air conditioning. I hate it because my nose just gets stuffy from the aircon, and it's not fun because you need to breathe through your mouth, and not very fun. So the fact that here I don't need aircon most of the year is actually allowing me to breathe through the nose, and by breathing through the nose I can smell things. And smelling things, it's so underrated for everything. Like, your quality of life improves so drastically when you can smell. It is unbelievable. Food tastes good. You notice if somebody has used perfume. You smell flowers. all these memories that you have from childhood because of smells come back. So it's absolutely fantastic. So you have a heated place. Okay, cool. Yeah, obviously you're gonna need that in England. And yes, the humidity in South Carolina was something to behold. And the pollen. The pollen was everywhere. I'm not allergic to pollen, but it was not pleasant either because you will go out. My car was parked outside and all these pine trees were shedding pollen, yellow pollen, very thick pollen, and your car was yellow. It's like, you know, these trees are doing abukake with my car. It's not cool, man. You need to wash your car every now and then. It depends on what you're smelling. Yes, but you know, by being able to smell, you know which places to not go to. Because you're forgetting that if something smells bad, it's telling your brain, don't come closer, okay? Foul smell. Good signal. Go away. Okay, vamos a ver ahora. Let's see. What next? What next? I need to do the ice yellow highlights. And I also need to plan how to tackle the metals. But before I do that, I'm gonna do the gold metals with Nasrec yellow. There are so many things to do still. I mean, we are very ahead, but there are so many things to do. So let's do first the metallic golds. Nasrec yellow for that, as usual. Boom, bada boom, bada beam, bada boom, bada bam. Let's do all these sword cross guards and pommels and all those things. So then I can come back and highlight accordingly. There we go. And there we go. A ver. Also here and here and here. A ver. And also here. And here. I saw the knights that you're painting beneath the flagstones. And what are those exactly for? Are you going to use them as heroes, or are they men-at-arms that you're going to use in Advanced Hero Quest? I also saw the leper. And is it really Little Monk, or there is a leper card where you encounter one and they touch you? But it's just like an event card. It's not like an enemy that you have to deal with per se. What is the leper for exactly? Or is it like something that I don't remember because I don't have all Little Monk stuff? But if there is an event card for him, what does he do? Is like an enemy that you have to kill or something like that? You know, like the witch in Advanced Hero Quest that you find sometimes, and you only have like one turn to deal with. What is it for? A ver aquí. And here. This should be a crown, shouldn't it? Should I paint it gold? I guess so. I guess so. They are men-at-arms. He has a full list of encounters which require a total of 6 lepers. Lepers or lepers? So I didn't know about this. Okay, what do they do? You have a band of lepers dealing with lepers. Okay, and do they? Can you get like infected or something like that, or is it something like an enemy? Like you know, I don't know. Let me know, because I'm curious about that. I saw the miniature and I was like, okay, I didn't know I might need that. You're making me have FOMO, you know? Oh, crap, another thing I might need to buy, so, or just source. And I'm trying to convince Frank here. I need more support on that. I need to convince Frank here to make the enemies for Advanced Hero Quest. I need the whole table of Skaven that I will need for the Broken Amulet and other adventures with Skaven. He needs to come through one of these days. I promised to him that if he does that, I'm gonna make videos of painting all those miniatures. For sure, okay? So Frank, come on, man. Throw me a bone, man. Throw me some Skaven bones. Throw me some rats this way. Throw me all those bad guys that I want to have for my advanced hero quest. So I can do the playthroughs one of these days, you know? That would be nice. I actually don't know is the honest answer. If you go to his website, he has a color PDF of all the required monsters. Okay. From him, unfortunately not here, I have printed the Ultimate Book of Treasures. The Ultimate Book of Adventures, I think is the name of it. Fantastic stuff. I love it. And it's because of Little Monk, Warhammer Quest can go so much in depth. Like, it's one of those games that if you don't want to invest in any other game ever again, okay, it has plenty of you to just deal with by buying all the miniatures that you need for it. But not only that, if you get these books from Little Monk, you don't need to buy anything else. That's it. You just roll that very same evening and you get a whole adventure arc out of those books, and a whole set of treasures and a whole set of things to be done in the game. Fantastic stuff, fantastic depth, so much stuff to do in Warhammer Quest with so little. I mean, the only thing that you're probably gonna need is sourcing a lot of miniatures to you know, to have the encounters, but that's a hobby on its own. Like, Warhammer Quest is one of those systems that is like this. If you buy into this, you have the ultimate hobby already, because you're gonna have to collect, paint, and play with all these miniatures. Fantastic stuff. I love it. I love it because of that, you know, because the ability that it gives you to just, okay, that's it. This is my hobby now. This is my hobby. I have got you Heinrich Kemmler on order. What? Wait, where? Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me. You know what I want? I want, once I go to Spain and I can figure out how to do streaming from there as well, I want to paint, what's his name? Van Damnegg, the one from Catacombs of Terror. So I'm looking forward to painting some more necromancers, and that's, yeah, Heinrich Kemmler is one of them. The Battle of Le Maisontal. Such a cool thing. Okay, we need to go and work with these metals a little bit more. Definitely is going to happen. Because as I said, I expected it to be, I don't know what to expect from this thing still, okay? This wash is basically an orange wash. There is nothing to write home about this. It's just orange. I'm pretty sure I could use it for other things. This is a washed out orange. So, in order to make it a little bit better, let's do the how do you call that? Oh my gosh, the Agrex Earthshade. But because I want to do Agrex Earthshade, what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna touch up the bones before I do that. So let's do Ice Yellow. So I'll do the double whammy and don't wait any longer. Where's my Ice Yellow? Ice Yellow. A ver, let's get some Ice Yellow, baby. And let's get back to highlights. Very much fabric to deal with. I saw your thumb also on the video. It's like this, like mine right now. Lots of colors there. So yeah. Alright, let's touch up this thing. And I don't really mind getting, you know, those stupid highlights that I always do. They are way too much. Because we're gonna create texture by doing this as well. So yes, I was putting on order. If so, I ordered an extra. So you now are gonna have two because you're ordering an extra for yourself as well, or what? I'm pretty sure whenever I see that miniature, it's gonna be so small compared to everything else, but it's gonna be so fun. Like, oh, for me. Oh, okay. Well, I need to give you my address, I guess. I need to give you my address. So that's gonna be on a stream, 100%, 100%. I have so many miniatures I want to be in the stream. So when I go to Spain, I'm gonna bring so much stuff from there that I have in my pile of shame, and I have been postponing because I was always thinking, look at how stupid it is, okay? I was always thinking, I'm gonna buy this and make a video about it. I'm gonna buy this and make a video about it. I'm gonna buy this and make a video about it. And I buy minis, and I buy minis, and I buy minis. And then whenever I need to start painting, because video editing takes so long, I planned so much for it. And then I end up not painting a lot of things. A lot of things are not painted because I get the writer's block of video editing. And I think, oh shit, if I paint this, I have to paint it basically in one go. And then I move the camera around and I move the light around. And I'm finding it so much easier to do it like this. Like, this is so much organic, much better. I don't need to focus so much on, you know, getting the right dialogue and whatnot and saying the right things and making sure that it's only in between 8 and 15 minutes long, because otherwise it's just too long and nobody's gonna watch it. I don't really mind right now. It's because the videos you can go back over and over and over again, and I do that. I fixate a lot and I say, okay, this is not right. I should have said this. I should have shown this. I should have put this animation in here. This fade is not great, etc, etc, etc. This is freedom right now for me because I can paint miniatures, which is what I like the most. Okay, the video making is fun, but painting miniatures is the fun part of the whole experience. And the fact that I can show you guys this, get 1 mini and be done, it's super ultra mega freeing for me. Like, super different to what I usually do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Spain. I'm gonna get some very cool stuff that I have been buying through the years with the utmost intention of showing it in the channel, but never getting to it because I was only waiting for the right moment. Like, for instance, painting Van Damme and other undead that I had, I was always thinking, yeah, well, I could make a video for Halloween, or I could make a Dungeonvania special on vampires or on necromancers, or etc, etc, etc. And it's just never happening because you never have enough time for that type of content. If, on the contrary, if I had somebody editing videos for me professionally, but the channel is not generating that kind of revenue that I can actually spend way more in the channel than the channel ever gives me back. Okay, this is not a story, a sub story, it's just what it is. I spend money on licenses, I spend money on gear, I spend money on miniatures and paints because I liked it making videos. It's just a hobby, but it's also a very stressful hobby in that sense that you want to make the right video and the right content. Since I started streaming, I just do it every night consistently for the last week. I didn't feel like this was a job or anything like that. It didn't feel like that at all. It's just, okay, I'm gonna paint minis and hang out with people. That's freaking amazing for me. I'm having so much fun doing this, you have no idea. So yeah, I make massive stacks of cash from YouTube. Yeah, forget about it. I think everything is done and said already. I don't know, maybe you get lucky, you never know. You have a very nice setup, your filmography is very nice. I like the way that your camera shows colors and everything. Your videos look legit, the sound is good, so it is good content, okay? The thing is that there are a few names in this that already have got the biggest share of the public opinion. And if we had caught that wave during COVID, for instance, and I had been consistent, I probably would have more subscribers than I do. If I had kept publishing videos when I was making them in America, I was very new, okay? I don't want to sound like super important, but I probably was one of the few YouTubers, if not the first YouTuber, painting Warhammer miniatures with this technique, the slap chop, whatever you call it nowadays. If you go to the really old videos of mine, nobody that I know was painting like this on YouTube. Probably on other areas, yes, but on YouTube, nobody was making videos with this type of paint jobs and this type of technique. But nowadays there are many channels, either about nostalgia or either about using contrast paints, or either by doing this and that. And if you want to be successful in social media, the biggest thing that you have to do, the most important thing that you have to do, is being consistent and being lucky. Getting that type of video that once in a lifetime, for whatever reason, obscure stuff happens and it just clicks. You know, and then for whatever reason, if you keep doubling down in that type of content, you get lucky and you get a lot of viewers constantly. But it's very difficult to get that happening, or at least it is difficult for me. What I like the most about my channel is just painting miniatures and talking to people. So just like you, it is just fun for me. That's all I look forward to. I want it to be fun. The moment I feel this is like a job, believe me guys, I have a job, okay? I don't need an extra job. I have plenty to worry about with my first job. Second job should be fun. And if I get some cash on the side, fine, but it's not what I'm looking for. Not honestly. Not at all. I just want to paint my freaking pile of shame. I just want it to be as less pile of shame as possible and more collection of painted miniatures. That's all I'm looking for. Wow, so yeah, I'm having fun now highlighting this, by the way, because I know this is the moment where I have the most fun, is when I start doing all these stupid highlights, because I know the next step is when the magic happens, when I do those glazes and then like, oh yes, here we go, you know. Highlighting the bones is just being a little bit methodical. As you can see, the face is already showing the features. I need to be a little bit careful in some areas so I don't do super big highlights, but they need to be consistent on where they are, and they need to show the volumes, because otherwise it's just a big blur of brown, and we don't want that. And some of the bones are so down there that painting them is a little bit redundant, but if I do it right, like here, I'm just gonna paint this side of the ribs, I'm gonna get the volume that I'm looking for, and also it's gonna read as such, as ribs. There you go. Last step there. Some of these. This is gonna be the usual leather, the bluish leather that I do with Drakenhof Nightshade. Only this one. And then this piece of fabric we're gonna highlight with blue later. Well, not highlight, glaze with blue. A ver. But yeah, YouTube has become very competitive, and on top of everything, on top of all the things that we get to see, there are very talented people out there. Not only talking about filming, they have very good ideas on what content to create, make it fun. So that's one thing. We also have a lot of people who are super talented on video editing, on how to tell stories, on the technicalities of this, which used to be something like very obscure that a few professionals knew how to do well. Now there is a lot of tech savvy people out there that can do it very well. So that's that as well. And everybody with a phone, with a semi-decent camera, can make very good content. You don't need to buy cameras like the ones that I have at all. At all. It's overkill for most part. But it's a hobby within a hobby as well, you know? I bought so many LED lamps, I bought so many things. I have a whole studio in Spain. My studio in Spain is quite nice. And at the end of the day, I'm competing against people who are way more talented than me on many levels. And I'm fine with that, because it's nice to see, and it's inspiring to see people doing something very well, because you always learn something very well. And we're still a niche within a niche, just to be honest. I think you should make videos about playing these games with fun people without too much dice rolling and game technology. Apart from the painting, I will watch them. I want to do that, but the biggest problem that I have is that the people who play games like this, my friends, live in Spain, and I always live somewhere else. And it's sad because I know I will enjoy making videos, for instance, with Trubo. My friend Trubo is a fantastic guy, and he's so much fun to play with, because we laugh our asses off. Every time we play, there is something stupid happening. And every time, like I don't know if you guys watched that video of mine playing with Pevida. Alejandro Pevida is another one of my good friends who is a great painter, great gamer, great guy overall. And that Warhammer Fantasy 5th edition video, it's genuinely the video I laughed the most editing ever, period. Because the amount of stupid things we were saying during the video, the stupid stuff that happened during the video, the preparation, the whole conundrum with me getting the list ready. There is nothing, I promise you, there is nothing like done for in a format that says, oh well, I need to say this here so it makes the video more interesting. Nothing at all. It's all impromptu, real stuff, okay? And when Pevida came and we started playing, we never take the game seriously, and that's how you should be playing these games. You need to go with a serious paint job, a serious table, but with the attitude of like, let's see what happens and just drink some beers. And if you go like that, you're done. You that's it. It pays off. Anything pays off. Everything pays off. All your paint jobs, all your stupid rule learning and list making and whatnot. If you go with that attitude, for sure you're gonna have fun. For sure you're gonna have fun. 100% sure you're gonna have fun. There is no way you're not gonna have fun if you have a funny guy cracking jokes and laughing at the stupid things that happen with dice. If you're taking yourself too seriously because somehow you believe you are the reincarnation of Alexander the Great, but with miniatures, man, you need to find a different thing in your life that gives you that satisfaction. Honestly, this is just a game. A very cool game, you know, but it's just a game. There's nothing at stake on it. Really. It is nice that we compete. I really like when people compete at the high level, but there's nothing at stake. Nothing. Maybe your pride, but just swallow it, okay? Because nobody wants to hear somebody moaning about you not getting your way with your toy soldiers. Honestly. Hello, Jehu. How are you doing? Good evening. Is the Stompa ready? Is it painted already? Is it almost done? How hot is where you are at? We're discussing about how hot different places are. So far, I think the only winning the competition is Frank. Frank is okay. It doesn't. I don't want to sound bad, but he seems to be living in hell. It's a freaking hot place, man. A ver. I really want to make that video with Warhammer, Advanced Hero Quest. Really want to do that. I really want to make that video. As soon as I get that dungeon painted, all those dungeon tiles, and I want to tell like a narrative gameplay and explain how the rules work. So maybe we get a little bit more people playing the game, because you know it's a good game. It's a good game, but even though it has solo rules, it doesn't compare like with playing with people. You know, playing with people is so much fun. Just playing with the right people is fantastic. These games were devised for that, basically, for having the opportunity to hang out with your friends and doing silly things and having memorable stories that you can tell over and over again. Like, we have stories about Dungeons and Dragons that they are like 20 years old or older than that, and we can still retell them. That's the kind of experiences that you're looking for when you're playing these games. Whereas if you play solo, you cannot tell those stories the same way at the pub, can you? Like when you go with your friends and you just start, you drink a pint of beer and you just like, oh, remember when this happened, and when you roll this and this happened and that. It's a different beast. It's a different beast. So having the opportunity to remember the events with other people, yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay, so great. Today was cool. Okay, let me see. Let me start from here. Yes, it's pretty much the surface of the sun. Wow. How long does this last, Frank? Is it like for a few months or half of a year, or how long does it last? How used do you have to be to the heat in your region? Is something that you just know that is gonna suck for a few weeks, or is something that is very prevalent and you just know that it's gonna suck for a whole lifetime and then more? And then here we have, yeah, today was cool, yesterday was humid. I took a break from Stompa. It's but it feels 90% finished. All right, is the last leg is usually the hardest, is because you're close, but you are a little bit drained of the process. So in big minis more so, because you just need to tie it all together, and sometimes it feels like it's a little bit overwhelming already. Like right now I'm feeling it. This guy is just big, and he's not a Stompa big, but he's big, and it's like, wow, okay, come on. I know I'm getting there, okay? Although I know I'm getting there. As soon as things just tie together and we just do the washes now, it's gonna be much easier, mentally speaking. But it's still a chore. So I'm getting there, but not fast enough, or not as fast as I would like to. A ver. Is once I'm done with this, because now I know I'm like might be forgetting a talk here, I'm forgetting something over there. I need the highlights properly positioned, because this is what is gonna sell the final look. So I don't want to miss anything, because missing something somewhere hidden, it's okay. But if you miss like a big highlight on the face, or in one of these elbows or something like that, it's just very evident. So I need to be careful now. And being methodical on big surfaces is a little bit too much. See, here I need the thumb, I need this, and I need here. Okay, and maybe here. I think I'm almost there. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's go. Okay, now the sword pommels. So I get some texture on them. And also this on the stick. Alright, alright. More here. I'll be reading your comments in a second. Just let me finish this around here. Okay. See, these highlights here are not showing on this side, and they need to show also on this side. But this is what you see now. So let's see. The enhanced edition, of course, has a broader range of heroes as well. I think most of the heroes, if not all of them, come from the White Dwarf pages, don't they? From the articles that were published on the White Dwarf. It is cool that they published so much stuff on the White Dwarf, but I really like, what I like the most about the Advanced Hero Quest Enhanced Edition is that they took the what do you say? Se tomaron la molestia. They took the how to translate that. I think I cannot translate it literally. They went the extra mile of gathering all the stuff that had been published and putting it into one single source, which is very welcome, because you want to play with all the rules that have been published, but you need to know where to find them. And when you're like fumbling around with several White Dwarves and very expensive, all the stuff. Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you? So having it all in one single place that is, you know, up to date and properly laid out in one single document makes life much easier. Okay, see here, I don't want to forget this. I need this to be highlighted. Then we're gonna have to do an ice wash, something additional for this gray to really pop. But Dragonhof Ice Shade and Ice Yellow and Ore Bone do actually have a very nice coat, like the one from a wolf. It looks quite nice, actually. It's a good combo. But I want to give it a little bit more depth, which is something that I will do next. Well, next in the next steps, in the few next steps that we still have to deal with here. And then we have from June to the October is hot, where Frank is at. From June to October. Junio, Julio, Agosto, September, October. That's 5 months. Are those included? Is it cold then, or is it just slightly cooler? Because South Carolina was stuffy and bothersome, and then it got cold. Not really cold, but cold. Cold enough to feel it. And sometimes it snowed. It was funny for me, having lived in Romania, to go to a place. Okay, here it snows every year, and it snows quite a lot. Not too much compared to other places like in America, but quite a lot. And we went to South Carolina after living here and after living in Spain for a couple of years. Like, we go to South Carolina, and I remember my first year teaching there. There's a winter day, one of those, a snow day, you know, and we wake up and it's like this much, 1 inch of snow, and I'm like, well, whatever. And then they announce it to everybody. It's like, guys, it's a snow day, nobody's coming to work. And Maria is like, what? What do you mean nobody's coming to work? I say, I don't know, they are not driving the buses to go to school because it's a snow day with less than 1 inch of snow. So, okay, fine by me, not a big deal, you know. And the kids probably were quite happy also not going to school. But it was shocking because here nobody stops for anything. I mean, it needs the snow that you need for Romanians to actually stop any activity is, we're talking about a mini ice age probably. And it happens every now and then. They have big snow blizzards. But I haven't seen one. 4 years living here and another year now where it has snow a lot. And I walk back. I walk to school and I walk back from school. So when there is snow, I promise you there is snow. So October to December is usually in the 20s. January to March can get into the 10s with freezing temperatures at night. Then it starts to heat up to mid-20s from March to June. So you basically have a nice pleasant months in between. It's just those extremes in between those months where life can go on, and then the extremes come, and then you basically have to decide if you prefer to pay the electricity bill for aircon or just dissecate somewhere, I guess. Okay, let me just double check. I think we are almost at the point where we need to start glazing all these. Yes. Let me just give some extra texture to these pommels here. And we are gonna go there now. I lived in, okay, let me see. The heat is bearable because we have pools and of course air conditioning. There is a big difference in how hot it feels between 39 and no humidity versus 30 with high humidity. Is it humid in your place usually? I live in Northern Virginia for years and you could be sweating in December. Yes, I remember in South Carolina sometimes, even during the winter, if the sun was unbothered by any clouding, you will get very warm very fast. Although, yeah, it will go very cool at night. But the weather is, yeah, it was weird. It was kind of weird for me. Which is, what is very shocking for a Spaniard is that when you look at the map of the United States, you will see that Spain and the west coast, no, sorry, the east coast, places that in the east coast are super cool, super cold, okay, in most of the year, like, but winter in particular, we're talking about very cold Arctic winds coming down from the North Pole, are fine in Spain. They are not, okay, it's cold, but it's not that kind of cold where you get blizzards and frozen rivers and whatnot. We don't get that cold usually in Spain. It's very rare, unless you live in the mountains. In the mountains it's a different beast altogether. If you live at top of some mountains, most people don't, but if you had to live at top of some mountains, we will talk about -10, -15 in some cases, if not more, because height and wind change a lot how temperature is, you know, around you. But I think the idea is that because we are at this side of the Atlantic Ocean, and you guys, the Americans, are at this side of the Atlantic Ocean, I think that, and once again, maybe I'm not right, okay, but I think the current comes from the south towards the north in Spain, so we get a current that is coming from Africa basically, and in your side the current is coming from the North Pole, so that's why it's more cold even though the latitude is the same. Maybe, I don't know, you guys correct me, because I know somebody's gonna check that out, and if I'm right, I'm right, and if I'm not, well, I stand corrected and I learned something new today. Okay, somebody's checking it already. Sometimes in August I can get a little humid during monsoon season. You got monsoons? What the heck? We get 90% of our precipitation during that time. We only get about 8 inches of rain per year. Do you have any gardens or anything like that? What kind of gardens do you have? Do you have like cacti, or do you have any other plants? I guess you don't have many golf fields. I will bet, because that will necessitate enormous quantities of water, and I don't know if you guys can afford that. I know that in some places they wouldn't do that. Malaysia had a lot of golf fields because it rains so much and everything grows so fast. So, all right, let's go. Bueno. Now, why did I bother doing all of this at once? First of all, because I know that I'm gonna use Agrax Earthshade on a lot of these surfaces to darken them a little bit. The metals in particular, I was expecting a different result with the wash that I applied before. I was painting a very light metal, and then I painted the rust wash that we have from this one, the standard rust wash that we have from AK. This is just orange. It's nothing specifically, you know, rusty on it beyond the tone of the wash. But if I had painted with a darker metal, then we will have a different result and it will look much better and more according to what I actually want it to be. So now I'm gonna do Agrax Earthshade very generously, and this is what's gonna sell that rusty oranges tone that we have in there. Hopefully. Okay, here the same thing over here, without affecting much of the gold that I painted before. And then I also gonna do it on here, on this pelt. I mean, a lot of things are gonna be washed like it with this. I don't want to do too much on the pelt because I want it to still have that bluish hue. So let's go. There is a golf course on every corner. There are a lot of lakes and rivers. Most of our water comes from the Colorado River. Wow, okay. I expected you guys to be drier than that. Like proper dry. Wow, interesting. It's, I don't know. It baffles the mind to me. So you get plenty of water and yet is very arid at the same time. Am I wrong or am I not The northern half of Arizona is at a higher elevation with big mountains. It gets cold enough to snow in the mountains. Yeah, well, it's like in southern Spain, Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada is the same name as the one in California. The snowy range, I will translate it as such, snowy range, Sierra Nevada. And Sierra Nevada gets snow consistently, although southern Spain is quite hot. It's a very, I don't know what type of climate it is. I will risk it. It's a Mediterranean climate, but it feels sometimes like it's semi, I don't know. It's because it's close to North Africa and they get the Kalima, they get some winds from the Sahara Desert coming up to Spain. As I said, the image a lot of people have from Spain is based on that, on Madrid, on Barcelona, on the Mediterranean coast, and a lot of it is from Andalusia and the bullfighters, the music, the flamenco music, and all those things. I'm from a very, very different region, very different culture, up to the point that we are considered one of the remaining Celtic nations. Okay, now, are we truly Celtic? Culturally, in many regards, yes. Phenotype, genetically speaking, we are R1b, like that's basically French, England. We are very similar to the British, genetically speaking, believe it or not. It doesn't look like it, but if you look at the haplogroups in Europe and you look at the comparisons, we are very similar. But the culture has developed very different to the one from Central Europe and Northern Europe, obviously. However, in this region where I'm from, Asturias, Galicia, Cantabria is a little bit more Castilian rather than northerner like us. But these regions, they have a culture that is very specific, very peculiar, not what you think of Spain. And a lot of people who come visit me, because I met a lot of people through my lifetime, a lot of people who come visit me to Asturias, they say, okay, this is not what I expected. They had this image of Spain and they didn't expect anything like Asturias, anything at all. Both regarding the way that it looks, mountains and the sea, and the gastronomy, the food that we eat, and both the dancing, the type of clothing we wear, all of those things are very specific from northern Spain, and they don't translate well to the image of people who have been exposed to the traditional media showing Spain as a Andalusian type of region. All right, let me see. Yes, there is water available, but it's diverted from rivers. The Native American in the low desert areas like Phoenix area built massive canal systems carved by hand. Wow, okay. Most of these canals are still used today. This is crazy, eh? Like, if we do have a feature as humans, is the ability to adapt our surroundings to just do whatever the heck we want. And that's pretty amazing and pretty insane. The ability to say, you know what we need here, guys? We need some water so we can plant all these things that will not grow here, and you just do it. Or you just carve a whole channel to connect two oceans. That is the stuff of legends, if you come to think of it. Like, if our civilization were to disappear today, people 2,000 years from now, just starting to get back on their feet, they will look at certain things that we did and will say, what the heck, man? These people were giants. Just the same way that we look at the pyramids or other features that, we are not really sure how they were built or why they were built. That's pretty amazing stuff. Ingenuity for the humans is amazing. The canals make me think of Roman aqueducts. Yeah, but if you look at for instance, the Aztecs, we were talking about the Aztecs the other day. The Aztecs were freaking badass, okay? One of the myths that talk about the Aztecs. If you look at the Mexican flag, you will see that it has an eagle. It's not an eagle, I don't remember what it is, but there is a bird atop a cactus with a snake on its beak. And if you look a little bit closer, that cactus is in a small island on a lake. Now, that island is Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan being the capital of the Aztecs. When the Spaniards first came to America and they found that thing, they found themselves witnessing a marvel of engineering. They found themselves looking at a whole city built in the middle of a lake where there had not been enough land a few years prior, because these people were building small islands, and they were building these islands. The islands will float and they can move them around, and they will be planting things on those islands to, you know, to have food. This place is what nowadays is Mexico, the city of Mexico, Distrito Federal. There was nothing like that in Europe at the time. Nothing. Venezia maybe was close to it, but nothing will compare to it. So when the Spaniards came and they saw that, they were like, you know, aghast. They were like, what the heck is this? The myth of the creation of the city says that these people were looking for a place to build their new city. They were moving. I don't know exactly what happened before, but they were moving places, and they decided that the prophecy said that they needed to find an eagle perched atop of cactus with a snake on its beak, and that's where they needed to build the city. And lo and behold, they found this eagle doing that on a small island in the middle of a lake, Lake Tenochtitlan. Well, if the prophecy says that, I guess we need to build here, and that's exactly what they did. So yeah, amazing stuff. I live very close to the ancient Roman city of Rochester, which is classed as the fourth largest city in Britain. Wow. Okay, so we're talking about something that is like almost 2,000 years old, if not 2,000 years old, right? 2,000 years. It's a crazy amount of time. It's a crazy amount of time. It's what? 40 generations, 50 generations, or something like that. I don't know how you count generations, but we're talking about people who live here way before. I don't know. It's mind-boggling how time is. I don't know. Every time I look like at things like that with the perspective of nowadays, I'm just, you know, humbled. I feel humbled by history. I feel humbled by our ancestors, the people who moved from all over the place just to survive through all kinds of things. There is here we go again with another thing. Us northern Spaniards, Asturians, are all maternally descendant. It seems to be the case that we are maternally descendant from the inhabitants of the Iberian Peninsula around 6,000 years ago, something like that. Okay, 6,000, 5,000, I'm not really sure right now. But there was an Indo-European tribe called the Yamnaya who came through all of Europe, and in my particular region, it just wiped out all the males. So northern Spaniards, and Spaniards, probably most Spanish people, are descendants, half of it from Celtiberians and Celts who live in the peninsula, and then not Celtiberians. Sorry, I'm talking even farther away in time, of the original peoples who live in the Iberian Peninsula, and the male lineages were just wiped out, and only the females remained, because basically, probably these people killed all the warriors, killed all the kids, and just took the women as wives, and willingly or not. So how history has changed because of strife and change like that is quite interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a nerd, like looking at things from this perspective, but I find it fascinating myself. All right, let's get back to the miniature talk. I'm almost done on the base colors here and in here. Okay, so we have the metals almost locked in, almost locked in. I want some more stuff going on in some places, but the metals are okay now. They start to look more rusty and whatnot. I think next time I'm not gonna do the light color. I'm just gonna go with dark, do some washes on top of them, and then darken them if I need to, or lighten them if I need to. But now it looks a little bit better, slightly better. It's not just only an orange wash on top of it. So we're getting somewhere with that. Now what I need to do is, let me just think. I need to do the washes on the fabrics, so we can get some colors on that. And then I need to get to doing the highlights where I need them to be done. And then I need to do the flaming here. So it's moving. It is moving at its own pace, but it's moving. Let's do some washes, some glazing. This green in particular, I'm gonna glaze it with this green. All right, this is a paint. So what I'm gonna do is, this is frog green. It's a little bit, you see, greenish yellow. I'm not really sure how to define this. It looks like kind of like the I don't know, like a lime green or something like that. So I'm gonna put some of this medium and I'm gonna make a wash out of it, a glaze. A ver, let's see if it works, because I want this to go green but not the same hue as the other one. I want it to look more yellowish. Now I need to be careful, because if this is not gonna work as intended, it might go into the recesses and it's gonna change the whole dynamic of this green. But if I'm careful, it's gonna go where it needed to go. This is also gonna be the base for the flames on that, so we can start working with it. Okay, it looks good. Not bad. Not bad at all. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Does it look cool? That's another thing. If you have a starter set of paints and you have a medium, you can create very cool glazes. Okay, Beneath the Flagstone says it looks freaking awesome. All right, okay. Well, I like that you guys like it, and Frank agrees that it looks good. There we go. Okay. Vale, we didn't go too much overboard on it. Let's see how it works once I touch the blade. Let's see how it actually builds from here. And it's actually the green that I was looking for. This kind of very eerie green. Okay. Gonna do a little bit of work on that. This is just the base color to see what we actually need to do with this, but it works. Subtle, and I think it's a good color if we ever want to paint goblins or something like that. We can start working with something like this. Obviously there is work to be done on the sword and other surface areas, so we can get the OSL that I want to get, but as of now I'm just sketching. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do, and I like it. I like it. Vale. Okay. Not bad. No me parece nada mal. If I feel tempted, I might put a dot of white, pure white here. Let's see what happens. I'm just gonna use this in the eye sockets. Let's see if it works. Let's get this, the whole thing like coming, like an eerie light coming from the mouth, you know? Let's see if I can pull it off. Right now, as I said, I'm sketching. Then I can come back and make it more how I want it to be. But it's important that I sketch now because I need to see how is it gonna dry and what I need to do. Beneath the flagstones, now man, it's, as I said, it's just don't give an F. Okay, sometimes it's just highlight like that and then glaze. You see, it's just switching your mind off. Because a lot of, I remember when I cared so much about every single highlight being perfect, every single line being straight and fitting exactly where it needed to fit. You don't really need that. You just, if you sketch it and then you are careful with the glazes, boom, it's done. It's done and dusted. Let's see how the blue is gonna come here. I'm gonna use a turquoise and we're gonna do exactly the same thing. We're gonna use the turquoise with a little bit of, whatchamacallit, medium. And where is my turquoise? Here it is. And if it does what I want it to do, this is gonna be a verdigris as well, okay? So we can use it in certain areas to make it look like bronze. Vamos aquí. Let me get my AK. Here, boom. Mix it. Mix it, mix it. This is quite thick actually, but if I mix it with water, it might do the job. Let's see. Okay, first of all, let's glaze this. Let's glaze this. Here we go. And get it from here to here. There we are. Okay. No me parece mal. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. Now, in the recesses, I need to remove some of this paint so the pigment shows that ultramarine is blue underneath. There we are. There we are. And is it gonna work? I originally started painting my HeroQuest minis using Rush the Wars recipes and homemade washes using craft paints and some inks. All mini sauce or new HeroQuest. Now 6 years later, I'm back to mixing my own washes, but with better quality paint and a better collection of inks. If you get good quality paints, you will notice that the pigments do make a big difference. The quality of pigments does change a lot the outcomes. So if you actually get proper paints and you know how to mix them with medium, you're gonna get super nice washes. For sure. For sure. Okay, look, now I'm making it bronze. See? With some verdigris. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Because what happened is that the mixture between the two previous paints is making it look orangish, bronzish almost, and we need a little bit of contrast, but the contrast is not going to be more dark stuff. It's going to be this bluish thing that is going to say, okay, look, it's kind of rusty. It's, you know, there is a patina in it. Okay, so the armor, I want it to look ancient, and ancient armor was made of bronze, so it's a no-brainer. Beneath the flagstones, please convince my friend Frank to make us those minis. To go ahead and make his nice version, which are always, they always look old school and they just look right for Advanced Hero West. I just want him to make those. I don't know how to convince him. Maybe I need to pay a visit, but it's just too far away and it's too hot for me. I will melt. I will probably melt. Alright, here we are. Here we are. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I was like, meh, let's see what happens, but it's actually working out quite well, if I might say so. If I may say so, I think I'm liking it. What do you need? Most of escape and minis. Look, I have the warriors, but I need a version that is a sentinel, the ones that can open the doors. I need storm vermin, I need ninjas, like, you know, gutter runners, all those things. Just a few, you know. I send you the matrices, the ones that are the monsters that come out in the game. Just do your magic, man. You are magnificent sculptor, so just do your thing. Give us toys. We like toys. We like things. I need my pile of shame to grow. Every time that I make it go down, there is like an imbalance in the universe where I need to get more minis. More and more minis. Because what the hell? You know, there are never enough minis. Okay. My plan is to make the minis from the tokens first. Yes, that will be nice. That will be nice. I really don't know what the tokens are for. I mean, they don't look like things that you will be putting on the table. But maybe Beneath the Flagstones can correct me on this. Because their shape is not very table friendly for the size of the tiles that we have in Advanced Hero Quest. They were a little bit stingy with the size of cardboard back then. So... no me displace nada. Can't plache. I'm actually liking this thing for the patina. I like it. Alright, let me just put some more here and here. Then I'm gonna come back, give it some highlights. But as of now, I'm actually liking it. I'm liking it better than when I use... what is that name of that thing? Nihilac oxide. I think I have more control now on the amount of pigment that I can do. Nihilac oxide is very cool, but it dries quite matte. I don't know how to explain. Okay, let's go. Now, I need a different green for this. I don't want the same green in here. That tabard is here. Tabardo, how do you call that? Wait, trunk, that trunk. Trunk? Is it trunk? I think so. So I need a different green for that. So I'm gonna do something else. Because I'm doing all these glazes, I'm gonna create a new one with a darker green. And we're gonna use this one. Ta-da! But this deep green is a little bit too lively. So I think I'm gonna have to put a little bit of dark blue. Like this one. Let's see what happens. And if it actually works the way I want it to work, then we're gonna put that... well, we're just let's put it and risk it all. What the hell not? Okay? Let's do it. It's a lot of paint here for just that small area. Okay, and it's becoming grayish. Look at that. That's an interesting green, isn't it? Let's see how it works. Yes. Let's see what happens. There we go. Let's remove some of it from here. So we just glaze the highlights. Okay. Boom. And then the other side. Boom, 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 boom. No está mal, no está mal. Will it work here? Let's see. Let's go to the furthermost part of the flames. Right here. And then this. This is where the flames will become cooler. I would rather become smoke rather than flames. Let's see if it works. I'm experimenting now. There is something that I don't like about it, but I think there is like a... I can work with it. I can get it done somehow. I can do things with this. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I'm starting to do things here. Starting to get places. Are the places that I want to be at? No lo sé. Not yet. I don't know yet. I'm experimenting. See what happens. See what happens. I love painting like this. I don't know. It's like, screw it. Let's see what happens, and then you just fix as you go. There is no plan right now. What color are you using for the verdigris? This one is this one. Archaic turquoise. And some medium, and boom, there you go, verdigris. Okay, now this one, yes and no at the same time. I need something else. Let's go and make it something else. I'm gonna get some brown and darken it. So it becomes this. Look at that color. All right, there you go. It's a dark green now. See, this is what I'm getting. And that's because I mixed some brown to it. And now we need to be very careful where I'm gonna put this, because I don't want to go way too much into the flames. I just want it to be at the tips. Right here. And because it's wet, from the medium is not allowing it to dry too fast, I can do this as a wet blending. Let's see if I'm careful. Okay. Yes, speed paints are so... I mean, a lot of people complain about it, and I was like, no, just leave it like that. They just... No, it's not a problem, it's a feature. You don't understand. But I think they were looking at a different, different type of clientele, not the ones that are looking forward to getting, that extra layer of depth by putting paint on top. They were looking at people who just wanted to be done with the paint job and as soon as possible. So they were not looking for the guys like me who are crazy and just want to do stupid stuff. All right, okay, vamos allá. Bueno, now I need to go even darker than that. And I'm not gonna mix anything now. I'm just gonna get the proper brown, the greasy brown that we got before, and just put it at the tips. These tips. Only a little bit. Only a little bit here also. And then I'm gonna go highlight the in-betweens with a very little yellow and white. And then get into the, into the blade. But now this needs to dry, so I'm not gonna touch that for a little while. They could make a few extra bucks if they use the old formula and market them as pro version. I don't know. They probably think about these things as well. I don't know, man. Some, you you start understanding things when you start working inside a company, and then all of a sudden you say, ah, okay, so it didn't make sense because it was this much money. Because it's a different thing when you are, like for instance in schools, yeah, when you are a teacher, it's a different thing to when you are a manager. When you're a manager, all of a sudden you understand, like, shoot, this costs a lot of money, so we cannot do it continuously. As a teacher, you say, nah, man, I need all these things. And I need them because otherwise I cannot teach. Well, you need to figure out a way of doing things without that because there is no budget. So when you're a manager, you see the things from the inside. It's like, I understand. So yeah, you know what I mean? Businesses look very different when you are inside them on that, at that level, you know. So maybe they thought they if they could make that much money of things, I'm pretty sure they're thinking about the cost. It's the same thing. I complain about Games Workshop all the time, not delivering to us, the old groaners. Like, come on, man, throw us a mode here. Give us Advanced Hero Quest again. Give us a new version of this and that. But they probably make their calculations and they assume the risk, or maybe they're thinking, okay, we're gonna wait a little bit longer, and probably we're gonna make even more money. Not, it doesn't make sense now, but later on, it might. So I don't know. Maybe if they have batches and batches of bottles, why not? Just sell them as, you know, we're still sending 1.1, 1.0. If you guys like it, just buy it. But I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's see. Back again at it in here. Let's not now. This is too wet. This is too wet. And I still need to retouch certain things like here and other things like the belts. But this skull, there we are. This skull I want to, because this is the focal point. This is it. I can tell it's still wet, or it looks bright because that's the way the medium is, very bright. A ver. Some highlights that went very mute down because of aggregs. I need to recover them. Here. Here. I like the armor now. I honestly like the armor now. It's old and rusty. It has personality. We just need to highlight around it a little bit so the bones are more less dark. So I think I'm gonna need to go with pure white in some areas for sure. But I like the armor now. And this I need to go and recover it with proper the colors that need to be there. I'll show you now because I'm talking whilst I'm thinking and talking at the same time is not something that it works for me very well. Okay, let's do the magenta. Magenta, please. I said, where are you? Okay, space magenta. Oh, I have some on my, or is this red? I have some here. Okay, and now I need to water it down, and then I can go and do this. Yes, do it. There, keep the highlights and do this. Okay, and here the same. We need to go and get those highlights a little bit mute down. Some areas, not all over the place, but a little bit. It's almost 1 a.m. over here, but I'm gonna push through and finish this guy. I feel it. Oh, this is red, not the red. I feel this is happening. This guy is gonna be finished today. Centrepiece for the enemies, for sure. Aha. Then this handle. You're painting flagstones. Are you painting the bases of miniatures, or are you painting some what you call it, some tiles? Okay, this is another one here. The henchman. Okay, it's just the end, right? Is when you are like really ready to finish the paint job and you are like pushing through it because you know you are almost there. Yeah, I see the feeling. I love that feeling. I always say that. I love that feeling. I love the feeling of almost getting done. All right, let's do some red here. So this is, I'm actually gonna mix it with magenta, so it is red but not too red. It's a little bit more carmine, I would say. Okay. All right. Also here, because I forgot this, we just get. Okay. This is cool. I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to like the mini right now. I'm feeling it. I still see work to do, but I'm feeling it now. You know? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling we're getting somewhere. And as soon as I paint the base is gonna make such a difference. It's ridiculous how much bases affect the overall look of a mini. It's such a change, because right now is that just that white mass down there, and actually the blue tack is not doing its job very well because the base is a little bit stupid underneath. But it's just, you see, it's just that white mass that is not adding anything. It's not adding weight to the mini. The mini will have weight once this is painted. Okay, let me see. We need some of that Drakenhof Nightshade now, and we're gonna do it. Oh, this is, wait, this is not Drakenhof Nightshade. Where are you? Here, Drakenhof Nightshade. Oh, so yeah, let's do the usual thing, which is painting in the places that I painted before with ultramarine blue. Some of those, not all of them. This one. Here, also here. I'm glazing sometimes. I just feel like, oh, let me just put an extra layer of shade here. Drakenhof Nightshade. Boom, done. Okay, let's see this handle also. This one. And this one. Fuyo. Okay, am I forgetting anything? Maybe a little bit here. And here, yes, the belts here, these things. Now I need to come back with some metallic to highlight certain areas. So we get some scratches, some damages on the armor, some things. I have ordered some lead shields though, so can't finish them off just yet. How much are you paying for the shields? Because when I saw you coming up with that shield for the board rider, you said that is the wrong one. I think it's a correct orc and goblin shield. The one that looks like a head with two horns. I've seen it in old green skin miniatures often. So that's good. But man, the shields they just charge you so much money for stupid shields. The old school shields, I mean. So much money. It's unbelievable how much how much some of these things cost. It's just stupid. Es estúpido totalmente. Okay. Now this here I like, but it's missing something. It's missing some yellow hues, okay? Just to make it pop a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some of that yellow color and mix it with white, like so, okay? First of all, let me mix it here. I'm gonna get this green frog color in there. I'm gonna make it even more yellowish, and I'm gonna put some white, not white, ice yellow, I think, so it doesn't go too desaturated. There, and with this and a little medium, I should be able to create a little bit of paint that is going to work very well for these flames. Now, this is the theory, okay? Let's see if it actually works in the practice. Okay. Yes, it's the correct hue. Okay. Is the correct hue. Okay, yes. Alright, let's see. Let me just clean my brush so it lasts a little bit longer. And let's go the in-betweens on the flames. I'm just feathering it now. Let's see if it works. The thing with flames is that the lighter part is the inside of the flame. So the deep recesses are the ones that you actually have to paint lightest. Uh, 175 per shield. Joder. Still, it's a steal, considering prices that I've seen. I've seen stupid prices for shields. Stupidest prices ever. Very expensive things for just a small piece of round plastic. Actually, I think we're gonna go through these like this. The blade will work better, I think, if we paint it like this. I'm not a miniaturista, but I think I'm making a decent job of painting a somewhat eerie blade. No airbrush. No airbrush here. And no focus on the camera. Good job, Miguel. Let's put it in there. Okay. All right. We'll see once we end. if I can sell the whole thing correctly. Let's see. Now I'm pushing it as much as I can, but then I'm gonna need some white somewhere. A ver. Let's see. It's kind of dirty and I need to actually clean it up and make it look the right way. So all these areas need to be properly highlighted. Sorry, I'm getting out of the camera. This is a big ass miniature. I need to zoom out a little bit. There we are. And now is this, the glazing around, so we get the highlights of the OSL. This is a difficult one because there are so many small textures between the bones, the vertebrae, the swords. All these things need to be highlighted somehow. Of course, the pommel of the sword that he's wielding. Just look at that. Oh wow, it's a lot of OSL here to be done. I'm gonna need to come back to it a few times. Oof, oof, oof. Okay, more here, more here. Big blade, big OSL. Big blade, big OSL. Oh, I'm getting tired already. It's just such a big miniature. I don't know how our friend with the Stompa is dealing with such a big miniature. That's just like. I hope there are airbrushes in the tool shed. But yeah, it's wet paint, very liquidy, and we can push that as a glaze all over the place. And I think it's starting to work. I think now it's starting to work. It's starting to sell that. It's just do not miss any surfaces that need to be done with this. Now that I dry a little bit more of this. Then the last one is going to be pure white in the small recesses. But this is the color. Notice, I don't know if well, you probably guys know how to do OSL, but what works for me is finding the mid-tone of the fire, or whatever is the light source. That is the one that I'm gonna use to create the OSL in the surfaces around the miniature that is making the light. So I'm not using obviously the dark. I'm not using the lightest, which is going to be white. It's the mid-tone. That one is the one that gives the color of the OSL to the surrounding areas. And it's kind of like dry brush and glazing and washing all at the same time. It's a very weird thing to explain, for at least for me, because you need to tint all over the areas around it, and sometimes it's gonna be tinting inside the what should be shadows. Sometimes it's gonna be tinting on the most prevalent surface areas, which is like dry brushing, and sometimes it's just tinting like glazing. So hi, it's something. It's a lot of surface touch-ups that you need to in order to create that OSL effect. Feedback on that handle, please tell me. This one, you mean? Tell me. I'm more than... If you see something that I'm not seeing, please tell me, because you will help me a lot. If there is like not enough contrast, or if you would like the color to be different or something like that. No, the painting handle. Oh, this one. Man, very good. Very, very good. I wouldn't be painting with it if I didn't like it. Very good. Because it's very comfortable. It helps your hand not to be too tight around it because of this. And if I need to control, like for instance, my brush, I can support against this. And you see, this is going to help me have that distance that allows me to do this without touching the mini, which is a recipe for disaster sometimes. Touching minis is a no-go until they are finished and varnished. So more so because if you have greasy hands, and it's very normal if it's hot or whatever, yeah, they are gonna screw your paint jobs, because then the paint doesn't stick to the mini. I mean, it's a whole can of worms. But if you have a painting handle like this one, it's just right, and it's hefty, but it's not too heavy. And it's just, look, for me it helps because I can lean on the tape. I don't know, it's very nice. And this is something I love. This thing is so cool. Okay, it's a golden maple, yeah. And if you use Rush the Wash, they will give you a discount. Okay, just right there in the discount code, Rush the Wash, and you will get a discount. Am I getting money for it? I don't know, maybe one day. I need to figure out how to do that. But I just like it because they send this to me for free, and it's like, look, if people are buying it and it's coming from me, at least they know that I'm actually helping them with the business. And I told you, I do not promote things I don't like. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be painting every day on it. So that's the proof that you need, that is actually legit. Okay, well, let's see. Now let's get back to this area and get the highlights here. And I hopefully can get this to work the way I want it to work. I want the light to come out from the mouth and the eye sockets, like here and here. And I'm gonna need white for that, but that's a problem for later. All right, I think we are getting already almost done. Honestly, I said I was going to do a freehand here, but I'm reconsidering the options because it's late, and I think this is more than enough detail with that. I don't want it to be too much. Now that this is wet, I'm gonna go and use pure white for those fiery inside the flames highlights, and also for all the details that I want to highlight. So first I'm gonna highlight the areas that I want to highlight with white, and then as soon as it dries a little bit, I might come back to doing the proper highlights inside the flames. Let's see if I can pull out the teeth. Let me just zoom in a little bit better, right? Go closer, please. There we are. And then let me do this. There we are. Okay. And the teeth underneath. Pure white in the eye sockets. There we are. And if I can pull this off, just get the whole lower jaw inside to be pure white. Well, fair enough, close enough. Not gonna be super white, but you use wine corks. They are just small for my liking. I like something that is heftier and bigger. Wine corks. Yeah, a lot of people use those, or medicine bottles, or many other. There are lots of things that you can use. I mean, is it something you really need, a paint handle? No. No, you don't need it. I mean, is it something that is worth having? Honestly, now that I have it, I will hate not to have it. Once you get used to something that works, I will just not like not having it. So take it as you may, you know. It's like one, I don't know, like getting one of those lazy boy sofas or seats. You don't need it until you start having it. Then it's like just too comfortable. You just like it. A ver, let's see if I can pull this off again. Let's see if I can pull this off again. A ver. Gonna have to come and glaze again a little bit just to feather that. And now pure white, and those extreme areas, the one that sells the middle hammer idea, like this corner in here, this small nick on the cape. Let's put a highlight at the bottom so we can see it. Same here, only at the bottom, and in here and in here, giving that appearance of being super 3D. I don't want them disappearing in the background, I want them to be evident. Another one here. Those small last dot highlights. Okay. Same here. Here. Sorry, I don't have much conversation right now. I think I spoke enough for the day. So if you can bear with me not speaking and just showing you what I paint, that would be great. I'm probably gonna start talking soon enough. This is just fine detail right now. And here we go. But yeah, let's see those small things. If we just put a little bit of white at the bottom, it's gonna create all the volume that we need from it. Nothing else. Here the same, and here, and just here in this corner, and a little bit here and here. So it's just finding those small corners, the small areas where I want just one little bit of white, like here. There we are. And here. A little bit, only a little bit. Don't be greedy. If you're greedy, you're gonna saturate the whole mini. If you saturate the whole mini, it's gonna look just off. Just a little bit. That's plenty. And here in this area of the bones, once again, that's plenty. A little bit here, enough. A little bit here in this corner, and in this thing. Well. It's not going bad. It's actually working. Oof. Okay, here, this belt that I need to retouch. I saw this and that's metal, so that needs to be retouched. It's one of the last highlights that I need to do. And this I need to go all around it. Is it showing now? There we are. That's the highlight for that. Okay. Okay. No está mal. No está mal. I'm starting to really like this mini right now. The black face is gone and we're getting to the face where I wanted to go, which is this one, the last one, the finishing off face, the fun face. Tired as you might be, if you get to this point, you don't quit now. You just want to see it through. That's what I want. I want to see it through. I want to finish it. So I got here, I got this far, and it's happening. It's happening for sure. Just a little highlights here in the fur. Okay. What else am I seeing that needs some highlights? Yes, the top, the dome of a skull here. Just a little bit. And I see that there is a missing area there for wash. Not a problem. I notice it. Now I can fix it. Un poquito más aquí. Just a little bit here also. And here, because otherwise it's just too flat. Okay, getting somewhere already. Come on, focus. Thank you. Last one here. All right. Okay, a ver. So retouching for the flames. Just get the paint liquid enough to do the retouches. This needs to be slightly darker. Now that it's right. Glaze through it. A lot of back and forth on here, but until I'm not satisfied, I'm not stopping. I hope those men at arms are almost done. I'm looking forward to seeing them finished. You're gonna make a video of them after you finish them, or like showing them, or how you painted them, or hope so. So I can see that. Okay, alright. I think I'm gonna be done with the flames now. Not touch too much anymore, because otherwise we're risking a lot. Yes, well, I say that, but I keep touching it, don't I? But yeah, it needs to be retouched. It needs to be properly cleaned and glazed. I'm not a good painter, so probably not. I'm okay, but not YouTube worthy. I'm not YouTube worthy. I'm just run of the mill. The only thing that is YouTube worthy about my paint jobs is that I just try to do them fast and without fuss. That's it. If that is YouTube worthy or not, well, that's more something of a choice of the public than mine. For instance, Sorastro, I think it's his channel, is a Thai guy. I think he's very good at doing washes and painting with washes. But I think he has training in arts, so you can tell. Ooh, this guy is coming out of the base. No. Don't you dare now to follow me and break on camera. Focus there. Okay. Sorastro, I think is his name. Yeah. Okay. All right. Vale. Now, highlights of metals. I need to fix that thing there before I move on. Look at that. Look at that white area there. That pisses me off. I don't like that at all. Shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there at all. Ah. Whew. All right. Let's go. It's now about resilience more than anything else. All right. Let's put that dot of Agrax right there. And bam. And this here a little bit more. Is anything else that I need to wash accordingly? Probably around here a little bit. And I think that's it. I think that's it, isn't it? I think here, a little bit here. Let me just check my metals, make sure that all of them are okay. And we're gonna put a last dot of Agrax at the top of this, so it's like basically smoke. Is anybody watching the World Cup? Am I the only not? Even though I actually enjoy watching the World Cup, but nowadays it's like, I cannot be bothered about it. I cannot be bothered about it. Like, honestly, if I were with friends and family that care about it, I probably would be watching the games, but not really. Not really, honestly. I like playing football though. I like it more than watching football by a huge margin. I just don't enjoy seeing other people running after a ball. I like running after a ball more than anything else. Does it make sense? I guess so, right? If you can't do it, why would you be watching it? Just do it. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, alright. Okay, okay. Now, some highlights, and they are gonna be both in gold, and then it's just the base. Both in gold and in... Well, it's just the base, it's not just the base, is it? Both in gold and in... whatchamacallit? And in plain metallic. But let me just retouch here. Okay, there we are. So I'm seeing... I'm okay with the blade, but it's not my best. Because I didn't build it properly, and I don't have the washes that I would like to have for this. Because when you start mixing, well, the vibrancy goes a little bit out of the way. It goes off. Probably gonna be retouching this until I finish the paint job. It is what it is. You're not watching it, yeah? Nope. So how am I supposed to know if my country is doing something worthwhile in a sport instead of doing things and politics, you know? Because whatever. Anyways, pane et circenses, as the Romans used to say. Bread and circus. If you have food and entertainment, then you can do whatever with people. Don't push to a crash. True. I'm not stressed, it's just I just like fidgeting. So now I'm gonna do the highlights, as I said, on the metallics in some areas. But I'm probably gonna come back whilst those are drying, and then whilst I'm waiting for the base to dry, and etc, etc, etc. Okay, now let's do this. Some nicks and things like that to gain the readability of the metallics. Let's clean the brush so there's nothing in it but just metallic paint. And let's get it sharp. Here, okay, so we have these plates here, and of course they look rusty, but if we give them an edge highlight, they will still look rusty, but I know where the plate ends and where it starts. So just that helps readability. All about readability, all about looking at a glance and your eye saying, oh, I know what that is this part. If you don't do this, well, it's just a big mess of things. Same here. Most of the color is already okay, but if I actually help a little bit, just a little bit, like here, see this edge, a little bit here, and a little bit here, and a little bit here, not much, just a little bit. There we go. And then we have some nicks and some extra texture. That's helping already. Same here. Let's make that star readable, yeah? Look at that. See, I'm leaning now. My pinky is leaning on this, and this is allowing me to have the fine motor skill here only on these three fingers that are holding the brush. So I can move those very concise. Because if I were like floating on the air, I will need to be probably leaning onto the miniature to require the distance to be correct for this. That's what the handle helps with. Not only does it keep the miniature away from your hands, it helps you move the brush the way you want it to be moved when you're using it. It's funny because at the beginning, well, many moons ago, we didn't have this fancy stuff, but also you can tell nowadays that people can paint better, way better than we used to, way faster, way better, more bobs and whistles there here. Also, when you do washes on metals, if you do not highlight them, they become very matte and they lose a lot of the feel of being metallic. So a little bit of edge highlights, it doesn't hurt. It actually helps a lot with making them feel like metals again. That's my opinion, at least. A ver. Focus, please. Okay, thank you. Swords. The knuckles here. Just a little bit. Here. Okay, what else? This blade. And this blade as well. What strength are my glasses? I have no idea, mate. These glasses were given. Well, they were not given. These were my late father's, and last year we sold my mom's apartment, and they were there. And it's just a memento, you know. He died. We kept the glasses, and I tried them on, and I say, okay, this is interesting because they help me see close, but they also have an extra lens there. I don't know if you can see it on my webcam. So when I paint from afar, it's great. When I get closer, I can see very good detail on it. So they are very good for painting miniatures, and they work just fine with my eyes. Funny. So I'm using the glasses my father used to use, and they just work fantastically well with my eyesight right now. Bifocal, yes. Yo, see, I don't even know the nomenclature for these things. I have other glasses, but they don't have that extra augmentation of things. So those are good for reading or when I'm working on the computer for work. But when I need to paint miniatures, these are by far way better because of that, because of having that extra thingy there to see closer. So if I need to paint eyes, I just get the miniature like super close, and then I can focus on those. Most of the time I don't really need it, but there you go. All right, let's see this small belt. I didn't notice this until I painted that small belt in it, and it has this area which is metallic. I think I'm almost done with this. Now I'm gonna do the gold and call it almost a day. Actually, I think this guy is done with the exception of the base. So let's see. With the exception of the base. Probably eats a lot of carrots too. Who, me? No way. I used to have such a good eyesight, and in the last couple of years, it was just the last couple of years, it's absolutely gone. Okay, I think I spent way too much time like in front of a computer, and then all of a sudden that's it. And it's research shows that if you want your eyes to be like healthy for a long time, you should be outside touching grass instead of in front of a computer doing stupid things. I remember in Malaysia, many Asian kids were using glasses since very early. And I was wondering why it was, until somebody from Malaysia told me, no, you know why? It's because they study a lot and they stay at home a lot and they don't go out that much. And the sun is so important for eye health. And I was like, what is he even talking about? But then I read more stuff about it. So I guess maybe there is a hint on truth, or that's the absolute truth on it. But I don't know. You be the judge. But what I can tell you is that whenever I'm outside, it helps relax my eyesight quite a lot, just because you look further and your eyes are not strained trying to focus on something very close to you. Same, it's normal eye age, they lose elasticity to focus on detail. Yeah. Man, getting old sucks. Alright, let's do the gold. Gold, this one has all the metallic pigment bottom, and as you can see, yeah, you need a vortex mix for this one, and the medium is on the top. Having a small vortex mixer makes a big difference because it mixes it properly. You're 45, I'm 46, so 2 or 3 years. there was a colleague that recommended me to get surgery. As soon as I saw that my eyesight was already, you know, stable, he said, just get surgery. I got surgery. It's the best thing I ever did, and he never needed glasses ever again. So that's an option. But how do I know when I'm done? Like, what if you think you are done and then you go get surgery and 1 year later you're like, oh god dang it, you know? And I hate people like doing things on their eyes. And it's just, I had an accident a few years ago when I was cutting something with a, you know, one of those flex machines that is like, I don't know the name in English. Here they call it flex, and in Spanish we call it rotaflex. It's one of those, you know, rotary tools that cuts steel and whatnot. And I was cutting a bolt, small bolt, nothing major, and one of the sparks got in my eye because I was rushing. That's the stupidest thing ever. I was rushing through something, and I just needed to cut one bolt that went too much into the wood, and I just wanted it to be just, you know, cut. And I didn't put the safety glasses on. One of the sparks hit my eye, and I didn't think much of it at the moment. To be honest, those glasses you have, I'm sure, are just reading glasses. Yes, they are. And yeah, it was a grinder. I think that's the name of it. And but my father used them all the time, by the way. They are not only reading glasses. For him, they were full-time glasses. For me, right now, they are reading only glasses. So I got one of those sparks in my eye. Didn't think much of it. The whole night I couldn't sleep because, of course, it's embedded in your eye. And then all of a sudden it's like hell, okay? You feel it at all times rubbing against your eyelid. So I went to ER. They rub it off with a needle, which was a very unpleasant sensation when somebody's holding your eyes open and they are rubbing a needle against it. And just thinking about it just making me flinch. They couldn't get all of it out. They had to do it again. They couldn't get it all out. And then I had to go to an ophthalmologist, and they had to get like a small drill in my eyeball and get the rest of it. And I had a small indentation in my eyeball for a while. So getting surgery in my eyes, yeah, it doesn't sound like an ideal plan to me. I noticed that I really don't like anybody or anything touching my eyes. Okay, gotta split, and it's quitting time. Adios. I look forward to seeing the finished model on Discord. You will. As soon as I get it sorted out, it will be there, and in YouTube. Good night, Frank. Good night, or good evening, or good afternoon, whatever the time is in there. And it will be done today. This guy is not getting a life from this. It's almost done. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna do much more to it. I'm just... That's it. Honestly, that's it. I'm just gonna retouch just one last time those flames. One last time, I promise. It's just the last time. I'm just gonna go there and just retouch it for a very last time. Nothing else. I promise. I'll just wear glasses. Yeah. But you know, it's like everything in life. If there's a little bit of suffering with a lot of benefit. If you get the guts to do it. And it sounds amazing, honestly. I also need to get something done in my nose because I have polyps and they need to remove those. I mean, once you start aging, just all this kind of crap happens all the time, but you need to get rid of all the things that your body is starting to develop. Thank God we have medicine, okay? Thank God we have medicine, because back in the day, you just made peace with the idea that you will not be able to see, or you were going to be limping, or whatever. You just made peace with that. And it's not that long ago that we're talking about. Not long. It's just life is difficult. As romantic as I am about ancient times, as much as I would like to see how things look back then, yeah. Give me my hot showers, please, and a little bit of comfort if possible. Even though not everything is perfect, it could be worse, I guess. Or you just get used to everything, you know, be a man and put salt on your food and eat steak. Come on. Stop being a sissy. Go plant potatoes. Okay, let's see. Now I'm painting the edges, which are the places where it will get cold on the blade. And then I think I'm gonna be done. Vale. Vale. Let's be done with it. Miguel made peace with the fact that the blade is okay as it is. Stop it. Stop fidgeting because you're not gonna finish otherwise. Okay, how do you like the guy so far? Let me just zoom out a little bit. No, that's zoom in, Miguel. There we are. And now, whilst you guys are admiring a little bit, I'm gonna get Drakenhof Nightshade and wash the whole base with it, so we can start doing the flagstones there. That's the idea. Make it look gross, like a proper undead. Look at that. Big ass guy, okay? Now this is, as I said, this is magical. Bases are stupid things. They are the last thought for many people when they paint the miniatures. Whereas they give so much information about the miniature, about what is happening, where they are, what are the climate conditions or the environment in general. And if you choose the wrong color for a base, the miniature falls apart. The best paint job will look stupid. We really like, at least I like Goblin Green bases because of the nostalgia. But let's be honest, it didn't do favors to some miniatures at all. Like Tyranids, okay, in a Space Hulk, Gene Stealers in a Space Hulk in a space, on green grass. No, man, come on. Necromunda miniatures in a Hive City, you know, oxide, metal, concrete, and you paint the bases green. Green grass, green sand, astroturf, or whatever the heck it is, okay? As much of a classist I am, no. Hero Quest miniatures, nah. So, I like the black rim. I love the black rim. It makes the miniature, I don't know, more elegant. I was the guy who was painting rims green, I was painting rims brown, I was painting rims in any color that you can imagine, gray, whatever. And then one day I said, yeah, what if I make it black? And I like it so much. I like it so much that I think I went back to several armies and just started painting everything black from then on. And that's it. It just, I don't know, it's like a frame. It gives you the frame of the miniature for everything else. Okay, now that we have the gray, let's do the ice yellow and then the white. And then whilst it's drying, the usual thing. Whilst it's drying, I'm gonna do the black rim. And whilst that's drying, I'm gonna do the lichen or lichen. And whilst it's drying, we put some of that, what do you call it, the sterling matte or whatever the name of that thing is. And whilst that's drying, I just take pictures, talk to you guys, and call it a day. I'm just going way ahead in time for a lot of things. It's wet, I don't mind. It's wet blending right now. There is too much paint here, so I need to get rid of that. A lot of it is decanting. Let's get rid of that. Very harsh highlights here. There. And because it's moving properly. Okay, this is a nice mini. I'm quite happy with it now. I mean, it's not the perfect flames, but it works. You know, it's gonna be a gaming implement. As long as it looks the way it should look, it works. Alright, enough ice yellow. Now let's do the white. Last highlight in white. Here in this corner. A little bit over here. You need to join the Discord, man. I'll get you hooked up. If you join the Discord, I'll get you hooked up and then we can discuss there. Just give me... How can I... Do you have an Instagram or something like that where I can send you private messages? Because YouTube doesn't have that feature. Is there any ways we can do that? Don't worry, I'll join the channel. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. As I said, I'm not here for the money. We'll figure a way out. I'll figure a way out. On top of sending me a miniature, joining the channel, no way. Not under my watch. Don't worry. Okay, here we are. Now that's nice. Okay. And after I do the Agrex Air Shade, this is gonna be looking quite good. Vale, let's do the black rim. My back hurts from. I'm gonna have how do you call that? Cramps? No, no cramps. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Today was a big gym session, and tomorrow I think I'm gonna do leg day tomorrow because I haven't done leg day in 2 days. And no matter how much I try, it's not ever gonna grow big, but at least it helps. They say legs are super important because they create a lot of growth hormones if you do it right. So that's gonna be something to be done tomorrow. Not that I'm gonna get massive ever, because I'm barely 168, not even 170. I'm probably less than 168 now because I'm older, so I'm not a big guy. But at least, you know what, it helps you feeling strong. You probably are quite strong because of your job when you are working on construction. But if you don't do some exercise like this, the muscle mass just disappears, and it's just not good for you at all. We're not talking about only health, we're talking even about mental health. They say that for how do you call that, dementia, heavy lifting is very good also for preventing dementia, and that's something that I want to prevent at all costs because my father had it, and yeah, no bueno. Yes, to make sure that I'm on the safe side of things. Okay, alright, let's wait for this to dry. Yes, it maintains muscle mass, and because you also oxygenate your brain. I mean, if you do it in a way that it raises your heartbeat, you are oxygenating your brain a lot, and that's very good for your brain health as well. So you need to invest a little bit on yourself to make sure that you go back. Did my camera switch off? Let me see what happened. Yeah, my camera decided that it was just too much, wasn't it? A ver, let's see. There we are. Okay. Now, some green for the lichen whilst this is drying. Oh, look, it changed everything. The frame rate is all over the place. Uh-oh. Let me see. I think I need to check the settings because I think yeah. Just give me a second. Let me check my settings on the camera. Because I think, yeah, the frame rate is 1/8. No, amigo. No, we need at least this one. And I need to open this. No. Okay. But yeah, it's going down. So, yes, 30 frames per second. And then f-stop, we're gonna go here. And okay. Okay, is it working now? Okay, let's see. Hoppa! Okay, it's drying, but I needed to get properly dry, and let me put some lichen on it, some green stuff in the flagstones, under the flagstones. Okay, there we are. Here, and then it's Agrex's Earthshake time. I'm just rushing it so I can finish it, even though it's gonna mix and it's gonna make a little bit of a mess, but I think we will survive. Not a problem. Once again, Agrex. Let me just retouch the flames because that's what I do. On this side. There we are. And let's see. Tin, 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 tin. No, it's just staining the base. Nothing to see, not much to see, honestly. Once it properly dries, I think I'm gonna get my hair dryer later and just heat it before I take pics. But you guys are gonna see it finished now. Okay, let me just hold him right, and let me just get things from behind, and I think I'm gonna call it a day. A ver, vamos a ponernos un poco más lejos. Let's get this out of the way, and there you go. That's the skeleton boss, the skeleton king, whatever we want to call him. Finished and ready to be a nightmare for the players. I wanted to do some freehands here, but after I painted it all with so many colors, I think that it will be a little bit of overkill. The blade, what is going to happen, and I know this from experience, once I give it a coat of varnish, all these transitions that look super violent are gonna become much more smoother. It's very funny how varnish actually affects the way that colors are behaving. Yeah, it's bedtime for everybody, I think, and my camera is also thinking the same thing. So, you know, guys, always the same thing. Let me see if I can point the right way. It's not this, it's this one. This has been Rush the Wash. My name is Miguel. I'll catch you in the next one. And as usual, un saludo, un beso. Y adios. Good night, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.